Chapter 398. When the first light snow fell, the snow fell. Zhang Zhong finally came back from the capital, followed by those county magistrates who were in a happy mood. At this time, no one scolded Zhang Zhong for being stupid, but they kept thanking him. They also admitted that the Zhang family was an unusual family. Even if there were fewer people, it was for the sake of the family. What the Zhang family had done in the past few years was like a legend, one after another, which made people understand. But when someone really made a conclusion, it was so bizarre. This was the ability of the Zhang family. In the future, these county magistrates could hold their positions and not move, or they could go to the new province to do things. In that case, they would have less power, but their ranks could be promoted. As for the provincial governor, it was impossible for Zhang Zhong to be the provincial governor of Zhongzhou province. The rank of this position was too high, the power was too great, and it was also a piece of delicious cake. Many people wanted to be the provincial governor, unless the Zhang family could use other means. Zhang Zhong didn't know the thoughts of these county magistrates, nor was he in the mood to think about it. He just wanted to go home early and make the two families happy. He knew clearly that it was impossible for him to stay here and be the provincial governor. It was not that he couldn't. If his son wanted to, there seemed to be nothing impossible. But there was not much development here. If he really became the provincial governor of a newly established state, there would be almost no disobedient people. However, the development of this place had reached a certain point. The lives of the people would be good. Unless the new provincial governor was a simple-minded person like County Magistrate 1. The life of this place would only get better. If he really met such a person, he would have to ask his son to do something. This place was close to Sanshui County, and there were many businesses in the family. It was the foundation of the Zhang family. Even if he left, he couldn't let others touch it. Thinking of his son's ability, Zhang Zhong showed a gratified smile. He didn't know what his son and daughter-in-law were busy with these days. It was definitely not as simple as it looked. It was very likely that they were arranging things after leaving and waiting for someone who wanted to touch this place. County Magistrate Chung of Sanyuan County suddenly thought of something and asked Zhang Zhong with uncertainty. County Magistrate Zhang, I heard that you will leave this place after the new year. What about our counties in Huayuan County? The county magistrates of the other 5 counties also looked at Zhang Zhong. They had the same concerns. With Zhang Zhong around, those few counties could cooperate well with Huayuan County and even Sanshui County. If Zhang Zhong was not around, would the others really care about the people like Zhang Zhong? What if a greedy and poor county magistrate came up? What should the others do? How many county magistrates could be like Zhang Zhong? Not only did his own family earn money, but he also benefited the people and made other places rich as well. The Zhang family's ability to earn money made Zhang Zhong not need to waste his efforts to be greedy or to betray the interests of the county for bribes. What County Magistrate Chung said is also what we are thinking. County Magistrate Zhang, without you in the future, the few counties may not develop like they are now. If there is a greedy county magistrate, the lives of the people will be difficult. The county magistrate of Yunyang County also chimed in. He knew in his heart that he wanted to be a little greedy, let alone others. If it wasn't for the fact that Zhang Zhong's booklet gave him too much pressure, he would have taken home a few thousand strings of coins by now. He now understood Zhang Zhong's character. If he wanted money, he would give it to him. If he wanted political achievements, he would give it to him. If he wanted to exploit the people, he would just wait for death. This kind of official was too rare. Usually they were honest officials and their families were not rich. But Zhang Zhong's family had a lot of money. Zhang Zhong heard the two people's questions and looked at the other people's expressions. He was worried. He didn't know what would happen here in the future. He was anxious to go back and ask his son. His son should have thought about it. Looking at the scenery by the river, the depression was full of hope. In the cold weather, there were still people strolling here, and they were all strong young men. Zhang Zhong knew what these people wanted to do. It was the notice that he had issued in the past that asked people who had nothing to do to walk by the river when they were free. It was better for those who were good at swimming. If someone fell into the water, they could jump in to save him. After all, this was not Huayuan County, and there were no boats patrolling here and there. After saving someone, under normal circumstances, the person being saved was basically a merchant. They would give their savior some benefits. Huayuan County would also give some rewards. To Zhangzhong it wasn't much, just 100 or so coins. However, to the commoners it was quite a lot. When the other county magistrates saw that Zhangzhong did not answer, they thought that he did not want to talk about this matter. They changed the topic and said, "County Magistrate Zhang, I have decided to let the Yamen runners patrol here in the future. They will learn from you and recruit some idlers into the Yamen." "That's good. If there is a flood, send more people to various places. Boats are expensive in other places. You can ask between the clouds and the water. It is cheaper there. To be honest, my boats there were all made by my family's shipyard. We can sell them to the Yamen as capital." Zhangzhong was now focused on being a good official. When others mentioned the boat, he decided to sell the capital of his family's shipyard to the Yamen. The county magistrate was happy when he heard this. "Don't worry, County Magistrate Zhang. The boats we bought will not be sold at a higher price. They will all be used in the Yamen. People who come and go on this river say that they are least worried about the section between Sanshui County and Huayuan County. Not to mention accidentally falling into the water. Even if you tied a stone to your body and jumped into the water, you will not die." While they were talking, a boat approached them. There was a flag at the bow of the boat with a rice seedling painted on it. When they saw the flag, they knew that the people from the Zhang family had come. The Zhang family also had their own fleet. They usually did not go far. They took short-term jobs within the range of the two counties. At the same time, they were responsible for checking the situation on the river. There was a clairvoyant on each boat. Zhangzhong stood forward and looked at the approaching boat. He asked the person who was also standing at the bow of the boat, "What are you doing here? I am going back soon." In response to Master's question, "Our family sent a letter saying that you have encountered a little trouble. It will be solved after you read the letter." The person on the boat tied the letter to a bamboo pole and handed it to Zhangzhong. Zhangzhong was a little confused. He did not know why his family sent a letter. He did not have any trouble. When he took the letter, the boat from his family had already brushed past him. County Magistrate Zhang's family is better. They have their own fleet and it is convenient to do things. A county magistrate said enviously. A county magistrate said enviously. The other county magistrates nodded in agreement. It was indeed different to have their own business. This time, they were supposed to stay at the resting point in the capital city. Their official rank was low, so it was very uncomfortable to stay there. In the end, they were led by Zhangzhong to the restaurant opened by his family. They chose a room and did not need to spend any money on food and drinks. These days, they were very comfortable. Zhangzhong smiled and did not say anything. In his heart, he knew that it was all thanks to his son. His son always wanted his family to have a better life. Before he left, he would make proper arrangements. At home, it was needless to say. Not only were his family members comfortable, but even the people in the inner courtyard were also the same. Regardless of whether it was day or night, there was tea, hot water for bathing, food, and so on. The people in the inner courtyard took turns to keep watch at night. They also found 2 doctors and a medical doctor, which made the house much more stable. In addition to the previous doctor, the 3 doctors each stayed for 8 hours. When they encountered a difficult illness, they would go to the medical doctor. In this way, the people in the inner courtyard did not have to worry when they were resting. When they were working, they worked hard. It was like a big family, making people feel comfortable living in such a house. Thinking of home, Zhangzhong opened the letter with a smile. After reading it from the beginning, he sighed softly and said to the other county magistrates who were waiting, "There is a new business at home. I don't know if you are interested in participating. I don't dare to say too much, but 50 strings of coins per month is still okay." The county magistrates did not expect that Zhangzhong would immediately lead them to make money after reading a letter. Needless to say, the Zhang family's ability was obvious. The output of farming was twice as high as other people's. In business, other people might lose money, but the Zhang family definitely could not. 50 strings of coins per month, that was 600 strings of coins per year. Even a year's salary was not so much. A 7th-grade external official only had 1,750 strings of coins per month. Adding the other 350 strings of coins, it was only 2 strings of coins and 100 strings of coins in total. That was 50 strings of coins per month. According to Zhang Zhong's words, the money was considered little. It was more than 20 times the salary. County Magistrate Cheng, who had just spoken, immediately expressed his position. County Magistrate Zhang, we are willing to do this. What is it? Zhang Zhong shook the paper in his hand and said, it's simple. Each family will send 20 to 30 people to help deliver letters and things here. If you go by water, my family will take care of the ship. If you go by land, you will need the cooperation of the county magistrates. This is called the express delivery. In the future, the entire province and Sanshui County will be together. Don't be in a hurry to be promoted. Stay in this position for 3 to 5 years. When I come back, I will naturally make arrangements for you. Take advantage of this time to earn more money, and take care of your own county. The next county magistrate of Huayuan County is the chief librarian who is promoted now. You don't have to worry. I will tell him what to do. I have already prepared a profitable business for his family. In the future, he will continue to do things like I do. He can still earn 100 strings of coins per month. If he dares to be greedy and dare to sell the interests of the county, you don't have to do anything. Someone will naturally do it. You must also remember to treat the people well. Fix the roads so that it will be more convenient for the express delivery. There is a requirement for the person who will be chosen. Rain or shine, from Sanshui County to the farthest county, you will only be given 2 days. You must arrive within 24 hours. When the people are rich, there are also rich businessmen and some nobles who live here. They need this kind of express delivery. It is very easy to earn 50 strings of coins per month. Zhang Zhong was confident in this matter. Ordinary people might take a long time to deliver a letter, but they endured it. However, some people hoped that the sooner the better. If several counties worked together, whether it was by land or by water, they could deliver the letter in 2 days. Chapter 399. Several county magistrates who were standing at the side immediately understood what Zhang Zhong meant. He didn't want to give up the entire province even after he left. There would be a new provincial governor in the province, and some other officials who would do other things. However, no matter what, the province couldn't be separated from the 7 counties that were united. As long as the people in the province went too far, the 7 counties could compete with the provincial yamen. More than 50 strings of coins per person per month was actually to prevent them from being greedy and accepting bribes. In this way, the province couldn't catch them, and they didn't need to worry about the provincial governor finding excuses. Thinking of this, the county magistrates felt that the weather seemed to be colder. Zhang Zhong was too meddlesome. But after thinking about it, they had to do this, unless they were willing to surrender. County Magistrate Zhang, I think this is a good idea. I'd rather be a level 7 county magistrate than a level 6 idle official. At most, I'll have a few more acres of land. How can it compare with a monthly income of 50 strings of coins? County Magistrate Zhang can rest assured. What County Magistrate Zhang was like when he left the Yamen of Sanyuan County will only be better when he returns. The County Magistrate of Sanyuan County expressed his opinion, and the county magistrates of other counties also followed. They were waiting for Zhang Zhong to be promoted after he came back. Others might not have this ability, but the Zhang family could. Well said, well said. In the future, as long as I have a way to make money, I will take you with me. When we go back, go to the Yamen and take a few kilograms of black fungus back to taste. Seeing that the matter was easily solved, Zhang Zhong happily told the county magistrates. He decided that when he went back, he would give each of them 10 kilograms of black fungus. As for whether they would keep it for themselves or give it to Shangguan, it was not up to him to decide. They talked and laughed easily on the boat, and returned to the Yamen of Huayuan County in the middle of the night. After settling them in Jinlai Tower, Zhang Zhong hurried home, and wanted to ask his son. As a result, he found that his son and daughter-in-law didn't come back. They stayed in Yawang Mountain. Suppressing the urge to look for him, Zhang Zhong began to tell his family about some of the specific things that happened when he returned to the capital. After the booklet, sand table, and the rental tax were sent, the imperial court discussed it for many days before approving the matter of Cheng Li's Ho. It was snowing at night. Zhang Zhong hugged Zhang Wang Clan and felt the warmth of home. He said softly, "I heard that the winter in the south is not cold at all. There are pearls by the sea. I'll make you a beautiful necklace. Pay attention to adjusting your physical strength. Lower your body a little, form a figure 8 with your feet, bend your legs, and use your peripheral vision to feel the things around you. Focus, don't put all your focus on one leg. Even if you're jogging, tie the straps of your backpack yourself. It has to be just right." On Yawang Mountain, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan each carried a backpack and held a foot-long bayonet in their hands. They led 56 people to train. Wang Wan taught the 56 people as they walked. The 56 people listened as they walked. They controlled their bodies and tried their best to meet the requirements. Now they didn't have much strength. The food was good, but they couldn't stand it if they didn't rest. During the day, they practiced in the morning and swam in the afternoon. They didn't know what the little girl was going to do today. At night, even if it was still snowing, they didn't rest. They were taken to the mountain, carrying a big bag of things, and kept on walking. In the middle of the night, the sky was dark. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were surrounded by 56 people. They kept on jogging. They had been jogging for 2 hours, and there was no sign of stopping. The two of them were tired, but their willpower was different. When it was midnight, Wang Wan finally touched Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao knew that Wang Wan didn't have the strength to shout, so he helped to shout, "Stop, rest and eat." 56 people finally stopped. Not caring if the ground was cold or not, they sat down and brought their backpacks in front of them. They took out the wrapped smoked chicken and rice wine in bamboo tubes, eating and drinking at the same time. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan first gave each other a massage, and then took out their food to eat. There was some beef jerky, a tube of juice, and a big steamed bun with pickled vegetables inside. Today is the first day. You can eat as much as you want. Go back later and have a good sleep. Wait until noon tomorrow. You will leave here. I will take you to Fragrant Hill to play. Crossbows and other weapons have been prepared for you. Tomorrow, change into new clothes, put sand in your backpacks, and put your food in the pockets of your clothes. You only have 3 days of food and water. When you arrive at Fragrant Hill, after eating, find a way to find your own food. Those who can't persevere, go back to the inner courtyard. You are the strong Team 0 of Team Meow. The team only needs the strong. Cowards can go to other places to do things. Zhang Xiaobao took a bite of the steamed bun and ate some pickled vegetables. He said to the 56 people who had blurred eyes and wanted to sleep. The 56 people were shocked at the same time. Most of their sleepiness disappeared, and they became alert. They tried to drink as little as possible. They were afraid that they would be driven back. They couldn't afford to lose face. There was a new protector, and they would lose their identity as protectors. If they were driven back, would they say that they couldn't keep up when the new protector asked them? Zhang Xiaobao nodded with satisfaction. Now I will teach you some simple skills. The first is sleep. Don't underestimate this sleep. At critical times, if you can rest for a while in a special environment, you will have a chance to survive. Cuckoo and I have practiced sleeping well. Now we can sleep at any time and wake up at any time. The 56 people listened attentively. Zhang Xiaobao patiently explained how to adjust their bodies. For example, what to lean on when standing to sleep, the center of gravity and the angle of the body, what was deep sleep, what was light sleep, how to cultivate the sense of danger, and how to wake up on time when sleeping, etc. Zhang Xiaobao had done a lot of research in this area. He first explained the general theory, and then he would take it slow when the time came. Especially for the dangerous training, he would arrange special things to put the 56 people in a half-asleep state. The 56 people were already sleepy. When they heard Zhang Xiaobao talking about sleeping methods, they all felt their eyelids become heavier and heavier. Wang Wan took advantage of this time to take a nap. Okay, that's about it. After resting for a quarter of an hour, we will set off and go back. Zhang Xiaobao felt that it was about time. He called out to the 56 people and leaned against Wang Wan to sleep. The 56 people yawned. Feeling the cold weather, they all began to eat and drink. After a quarter of an hour, Zhang Xiaobao woke up first. Wang Wan also opened her eyes, put on her backpack, and began to lead the group back. When they came, they didn't walk slowly. When they went back, because they were full and had a day of exercise, the 56 people walked until 4:45 in the morning. Only then did they return to the foot of the mountain, enter the house, quickly take off their wet clothes and lie down to sleep. The next day, Zhang Zhong rushed over when it was almost noon. He wanted to have a good talk with his son. As a result, it was exactly 1:45. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan led the group and set off. This time, like last night, they didn't bring any servants. All the way to Fragrant Mountain, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan sat in the carriage and took turns to drive. Looking at the 56 people behind them, Zhang Xiaobao opened his backpack and explained to everyone. This small knife is used to deal with animals or fish. In the same bag, there is a smaller steel knife used to cut off the dead skin when you are injured. Don't mix them up. The small bamboo tube contains cotton soaked in alcohol. There is also a small tweezer. When the time comes, use the tweezer to pick it up and use it to wipe the wound and the small knife. He remembered that when there was alcohol cotton wool in the small knife, it could not touch the wound directly. If there was no alcohol cotton wool, it had to be roasted with fire first. This small bamboo tube was filled with salt. There was only salt and no other seasonings. These few packets of medicine were made by the doctor of the main house to treat injuries and illnesses. This paper packet contains dried meat, which can be used to satisfy hunger. There are also some dehydrated vegetables and special compressed biscuits. Everything added up, except for the salt, is only enough for you to eat for 3 days. If you eat sparingly, you can eat more. The small gourd contains wine, which is very strong. When you feel weak, drink a mouthful. In addition, the most important thing is these black things extracted from opium poppies. When you are injured and in pain, you can eat a little. When you want to force yourself to continue doing things, you can eat a little. Remember to control yourself. If you eat too much of this thing, you will become addicted. Use it at a critical moment. Zhang Xiaobao was also wearing clothes with many pockets. Every time he said something, he put it in a suitable place. The speed of the carriage slowed down so that the 56 people could slowly follow and stuff the things into the pockets of their clothes. A bag of things seemed to have a lot of things, but they could all be stuffed in. When there was only an empty bag left, the 56 people began to put the sand from the carriage into the bag. Each person put in 10 pounds. In addition to this heavy bag, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also made small sandbags of 2 pounds each for the 56 people. These sandbags could be wrapped around the hands and ankles of the 56 people. These things added up to a total of 30 pounds. There were also weapons, which added up to about 40 pounds. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't use these sandbags because they were still young. In the beginning, they didn't think much of carrying 40 caddies of items. However, after walking for 4 hours, the 56 of them finally understood how burdensome these items were. Each of them was sweating profusely, and their clothes were also soaked. Wang Wan took Zhang Xiaobao's place to drive the carriage. She was holding 2 3-inch wide ropes in her hands. To be precise, they were thick patches, the kind that were made of canvas. Are you tired? Xiaobao, stop the carriage first. I will teach you how to put on the leggings. These leggings can't be tied all the time. You can put them on when needed. With this, you can feel more relaxed when walking and have more explosive power. Chapter 400. While Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were working hard to train the 56 people, Zhang Zhong and Wang Wan were all anxious. The 2 children ran away with so many people. Hearing from the people who stayed at the foot of Yaowang Mountain that they were going to Fragrant Hill, Zhang Zhong did not go to find them personally. He arranged for someone to bring his own letter over. After returning to the yamen, Zhang Zhong still did what he was supposed to do. He was not distracted by the fact that the 7 counties would send people to establish provincial governments after the new year. That was a matter of the imperial court, and had nothing to do with him. The new provincial governor could not do anything to him. If it was someone who was promoted from other places, They should be thanking him. Compared to Zhang Zhong's calmness, the people in other places could not continue to be as steady as before. Fast horses ran everywhere in the capital, heading to various places in the Tang Empire. The people on the horses had to report the situation in Xinzhou to various places. There were also people who specially collected some information about the Zhang family and had to report it to their respective masters. When the Zhang family pushed a county to become a Shang county, it had already caused quite a stir. This time, they even united 7 counties to become a province, which was even more shocking. Zhang Wang clan's maternal family also specially sent people to visit Zhang Zhong and brought many gifts. The current Zhang Zhong was no longer the person who wanted to elope. He received the people from the Wang family well and had a good chat with them. However, he did not agree to take his family to the capital to have a look. When the people who sent them left, they took many things, including 2 tricycles. Li Sun also rushed back. After asking around, he heard that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had gone to Fragrant Hill. He thought that the 2 of them wanted to go on a winter hunt. After thinking about it, he decided that it would be better to stay by the yamen. If something new were to appear, the Zhang family would definitely look for him. He was also waiting for the propeller to be made, so that he could install it on the ship that was currently being modified. The old man in the Shuiyun room was not idle either. Ever since he had seen the propeller, he had taken out the copy of the Book of Nature and flipped through it several times. Then he came to the academy and asked someone to copy it. He was going to make it a compulsory subject for the students of the academy. Even if it was not very orthodox, learning this book could make a propeller. This kind of sharp weapon naturally could not be underestimated. After thinking about it, the old man checked the household register of the students. After finding that there were no people from other countries, he was relieved. Lu Jiro did not leave. She took a group of people from the Ministry of Works and studied it there. She had people send over a lot of good steel. She also transferred some craftsmen from the capital who belonged to the Ministry of Works. Many people from the Military Weapons Administration also came. There were only a few things that looked simple, but it was difficult to understand the principles behind them. He made some parts one by one, and after putting them together, he used some of the oil that was usually used for the axle of the carriage. He found a ship and tested it, and found that it was indeed useful. You only know how it is, but you don't know why it is. What is the principle behind this thing? Lu Jiro said with a sigh after finding out that the replica propeller was also easy to use. Lu Feidong also walked around. When he saw that the thing was made, he thought of what he heard the other day. He asked Lu Jiro, "Uncle, when can I learn this thing? You are such a high official. If you ask the yamen to accept me, they will accept me, right? Also, I won't continue to ask them to pay for the curved plow." Hee. Lu Jiro smiled helplessly. Feidong, not to mention the Zhang family's ability. Even if it was an ordinary county magistrate, they would not listen to my words. I will ask Bai Laosheng to write a letter, and see if they are willing to let you go. If you really go, you have to be obedient when you get there. Lu Jiro didn't have a good idea. This distant nephew of hers was the kind of person who couldn't get along with 8 Poles. However, he came here to help, and he even brought half of the genealogy book. For her, it was just one more mouth to eat. Besides, this nephew was usually very honest. He would only appear clever when he encountered strange things. The Zhang family sent a letter last time, wanting to meet with them. In the end, they were politely rejected. If her nephew could go, he could learn something. In the future, he would be able to get into the Ministry of Works and do some things. Thinking of this, the 2 of them went to the academy. When the snow fell, the new year was in front of them. 2 days after the small new year, almost everyone was preparing for the big new year. Shipping had stopped, but people were not idle. Without the ships coming and going, and the ice in the river, especially those who saw the cold storage at the docks to make money, they all had ideas about the ice. At this time, they dug out the ice and put it in the cellar. By next summer, they could sell it. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also brought the people back. They only returned to the yamen on the first day of the new year. The 56 people had changed a lot. Each of them had a determined look in their eyes, and their muscles were different from before. At first glance, people would feel that they were not ordinary. The 56 people were really tired. During the day, even if they were in the mountains, they would find a flat ground to practice. In the morning they would do this. In the afternoon they would swim. There were many big and small ponds in Xiangshan, and there were also rivers flowing through. Later on, when the ice froze, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not give up on their swimming training. They broke the ice and cleaned it up. They first moved around on the shore, then swam a few laps in the water. They could not stay in the water for so long. In the afternoon, they only needed to stay in the water for an hour. After the new year, the training would continue. If they did not practice more, no one would be available at the crucial moment. In the midst of the festive bustle, the 30th day finally arrived. This year, the two families still spent the new year together. However, they did not return to Zhuangzi. In the yamen, there had to be someone guarding. In particular, there were many firecrackers. If there was a fire, they had to rush over quickly to save it. The farmers of the two families also knew this. They sent a lot of things and took a lot of things back. Accompanied by the crackling sound of firecrackers, each family ate their New Year's Eve dinner. Zhang Zhong hurriedly finished his meal, then took the yamen runners to visit some families. In the past half a month, he had not been idle. He brought people to deliver things to the people who were not living well in the county. It had become a tradition to send a bag of noodles, a bag of rice, a barrel of oil, or 10 caddies of pork. Zhang Zhong did not forget about the other 6 counties around him. He had people deliver things to them. As for whether those county magistrates would follow his example and give things to each family, he did not care. In the end, the other 6 county magistrates followed his example and gave things to the people. In exchange, the people smiled and looked at them with respect, which made them feel different. Xiaobao, when will you be able to leave next year? Do you still need to prepare anything? Wang Wan asked Zhang Xiaobao, who was eating watermelon seeds when she was on night watch. Zhang Xiaobao ate a watermelon seed with difficulty. He thought for a while and said, about a month. After the new year, we will be able to leave. This time, the team is not small. We have to take the things we collected from the surrounding counties and sell them along the way. We also have to carry 2 ships of wheat rice stones. There is a lot of land there, but there are not many people. We can buy some more. When we get there, we can eat as many bananas as we want. What other fruits are there? I don't know if anyone has brought coffee or something from other places to plant there. I don't think so. Can the seeds of some of our crops be planted there? Wang Wan had not seen what bananas looked like since she came here. When she heard Zhang Xiaobao mention it, she licked her lips, picked up a walnut, and ate it. Who cares if it can be planted or not? Let's bring it over first. Cotton can definitely be planted. The specific place has not been decided yet. We have to wait for that assistant minister to help. Let's see where he will harm my father, and what excuse he will use. A map appeared in Zhang Xiaobao's mind. He pondered over it one by one. What should he do when he got there? He still had to consider some local factors. Wang Wan also had a picture in her mind. It was not a map, but a picture of her playing on the beach, sitting under a coconut tree, listening to the sound of the tide, looking at the blue sky and sea, seagulls flying, a red sun hanging in the sky, and eating a lobster with both hands. It is said that there is a lot of silver in Japan. When we get there, we can do more trade with them, get the silver back, and sell the things. If we don't sell the things with technology, what else can Japan have? Then we can take a ship to Southeast Asia and bring back some good things, especially corn, potatoes, sweet potatoes, and what else? Think about it. The picture in Wang Wan's mind changed again. The lobster in her hand disappeared and was replaced by a bag of potato chips. Zhang Xiaobao picked up a melon seed and said, "Those things are not from Southeast Asia, right? It seems to be in Africa. Do we dare to go there? Let's trade with Japan first and see if we can find something along the coast that we don't have. Animals are included. There will probably be a lot of mess waiting to be dealt with when we get there. Especially with the people living in the mountains over there. We have to coordinate a good relationship. We can't be hostile. We can give them some things first, such as food, and then slowly teach them some knowledge." Is it integration? Wang Wan gave up the idea of going to sea directly and asked about the ethnic issues. This kind of thing was not easy to deal with. It's not integration. It's that we have already regarded them as a family in our hearts. Everyone can live a good life and distribute the benefits as much as possible, so there will be fewer conflicts. They should have a lot of good handicrafts and specialties. We can help them sell them, and buy things from other places, and sell them to them. As long as we respect their ethnic culture and their totems, they won't care who rules. Zhang Xiaobao had thought about this for a long time. Under normal circumstances, ethnic minorities were not friendly to outsiders. It was nothing more than a poor use of resources and poverty. Psychologically, they had the idea that outsiders would make them poorer. First, they would send things to show their friendliness. Then they would teach them a little bit and let them see the outside world. Naturally, they would be more open-minded and willing to try to live a better life and yearn for a more prosperous place. Wang Wan also agreed with this idea. We still don't know what they look like and what kind of house they live in. Food? Let's trick a few more doctors to follow them and see if we can find good medicinal materials. We can also learn from the local people. Some indigenous recipes are more useful. Chapter 401. Every year, the night was like this. What was different was the mood. This year, the people of Huayuan finally had a good new year. There was a lot of food at home. They even dared to make dumplings with meat fillings. The table was not like last year, when there were only a few simple things. The adults and the children had new clothes made and bought firecrackers. When the firecrackers sounded, it was accompanied by the children's laughter. The cold night seemed to be full of joy. Many people first kowtowed in the direction of the yamen before they started to eat the dumplings. The dumplings with pork and onion fillings were taken out of the pot and piled on the plate. They were dipped in garlic sauce and took a bite. The fragrance was overflowing, and the children grinned as they ate. The adults were also happy. From time to time, they told their children to remember County Magistrate Zhang. Without County Magistrate Zhang, there would be no good days now. They would not be able to eat meat dumplings with white flour, set off firecrackers, and receive candies from every family during the new year. Some people even set up a longevity tablet for Zhang Zhong, praying that the Zhang family would be safe and sound forever. Zhang Zhong did not know that the people treated him like this. He was leading a few yamen runners to visit the poor families in the county. When he visited a family, he would chat with them for a while, ask about their lives and trifles at home. He would also eat a dumpling. After making a big circle, the sound of firecrackers gradually subsided. Zhang Zhong began to regret that he ate too much at home. After eating a circle of dumplings, his stomach was full. Some people did not like to be jealous. They only had soy sauce, so they were sick of it. There were all kinds of fillings. When he returned to the yamen, he ate a lot of shancha pills. After a while, he felt better. He talked with the people of the Wang family about the future and waited for dawn. When the firecrackers of the new year gradually faded away, the people returned to their normal lives. The affairs of Chengzhou also began. The imperial court sent many officials and promoted some from several counties. However, the 6 county magistrates all wrote memorials, saying that they still wanted to be county magistrates. The county affairs were not settled yet. Li Sun ran over early in the morning. He was very excited. He found Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who were still training people. He said to the two of them, "Let me tell you something good. I'm sick. According to a local prescription, I need to soak in the sea and eat more seafood to get better." Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan immediately understood. Li Sun had convinced his family to follow them. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head helplessly. Why bother? It's not easy to travel back and forth. If you don't get used to the food and lodging and get sick, it'll be troublesome. I'm not afraid. You're not afraid. I'm an adult, what's there to be afraid of? As long as I follow you, I won't have to worry about food and lodging. Your family knows how to enjoy life. How can it be bad? Li Sun had made up his mind to follow them. He was not worried about any danger. When he talked about following them, he suddenly said to the two of them, "Guess where Xiao Bao's father will go? Assistant Minister Liu is quite capable. He found a group of people to write memorials saying that your father should be punished. He said that your father should be placed in a better place. He said that Lu Zhou's place is not bad. In addition, your family found people to do some work. The emperor is the same. In 2 days he will send an edict. It's a lower province. Your father can be the provincial governor. Oh. As expected, he was sent to Lingnan. Fine, Lingnan it is. As long as he can be the head there, he can have the final say. Is my family's ship ready? Send it over quickly. There are other ships that need to be used for transportation. This time there are many things. If you don't want to live a hard life there, you have to bring more things over. Zhang Xiaobao did not expect LV Yinzhua to be so ruthless. He really sent them to Lingnan. Since the matter was decided, he had to make preparations here. Once the imperial court's edict was issued, his father would bring his family to the capital. After seeing the emperor, they would set off for the capital. Li Sun patted his chest and said, "Don't worry, I've already prepared. I've also modified a ship. In addition to the ship company's original ship, I'll bring 3 ships this time. Your family will have 10 ships. What do you think? Is the group big enough?" 10 ships won't be enough. My family bought so many things from the surrounding counties. 10 ships won't be enough. We'll bring 5 more ships. We'll trade along the way. I won't go on land. It'll be torturous. We'll take the waterway, and then enter the sea. We'll walk along the coast. It'll be faster than going on land. Zhang Xiaobao calculated and firmly chose to take the waterway. Otherwise they would have to climb mountains all the way. When they reached the destination, even if they did not die, they would lose a layer of skin. Li Sun also thought so. He had never seen what the sea looked like. This time he would like to see it. He nodded and said, "Well, find 5 more ships. It's also fine to take the waterway. Your father is not exiled. As long as there's no delay in taking office, it's fine to dig from the ground. It's a 4th-rank official. In just 1 year, how many people want to be a 4th-rank official? Your father is so young, but he's sitting there. Shouldn't you treat me to something to celebrate? It's my father's ability to be a 4th-rank official. Moreover, it's a 4th-rank official in such a remote place. Ask the officials in the capital, how many are willing to go there? Well, I'll treat you to something to eat. It's scrambled eggs with chives." Zhang Xiaobao was indeed happy. Other people were not willing to go outside to be an official, but he was willing. That place was truly a place where the emperor was far away. He and Wang Wan were tinkering with something, so they did not have to worry about being targeted by others. There were many benefits. As he spoke, he let the 56 people continue their training. He really pulled Li Sun to make scrambled eggs with chives. The newly harvested chives were just in time to be delicious. Zhang Zhong's departure was a foregone conclusion. 5 days later, the imperial court sent a decree, telling him to go to the capital first. He had to see the emperor and take the seal to take office. Li Sun mobilized a large ship to the capital and waited there. The goods here had to be sent over by small ship. The farmers of the Zhang family and Wang family also knew about this matter. Even if they already knew about it, they were still reluctant to see their master leave. Many people came to see them off. They also promised to look after Zhuangzi and wait for their master's return. The people of Sanshui County also knew about this matter. Many people also came to see Zhang Zhong, the person who brought them a good life. Needless to say, the people of Huayuan County also came. Even the people of the other 6 counties also came. Cart after cart of goods were transported to the docks. There was no need for the Zhang family to find people to do the work. The people who came stepped forward to help move the goods. Some of the people in the 8 counties looked like a black mass from afar. There were at least 10,000 people. The goods were loaded and moved. The Zhang family and Wang family arrived in the capital first. At this time, they began to board the ship. No one knew who was the first to shout, "Lord Zhang, have a safe journey. I kowtow to you. Lord, if you feel uncomfortable outside, please come back. We the people will listen to you." Following this person's example, the other people also shouted blessings and kowtowed to Zhang Zhong. Except for the people of the Zhang family and Wang family who stood at the bow of the ship, the others all knelt there, kowtowing to Zhang Zhong with their heads bobbing up and down. This scene stunned Li Sun, as well as the old man who had just come down with the flow. Zhang Zhong also did not expect that so many people would come to see him off. It was just the beginning of spring, and the river had just frozen. With so many people kneeling on the ground, it must be very cold. Zhang Zhong could not help but cry drop by drop. He wiped his eyes with his sleeve, took the simple loudspeaker from Zhang Xiaobao, and shouted to the people around him. Everyone, get up and live a good life. If you have any trouble, go to the Zhang family to find the housekeeper, or go to between the clouds and the water to find the shopkeeper. As long as you do not commit crimes, the Zhang family will definitely help you. Get up quickly, the ground is cold. When he cried, the people also cried. They were reluctant to let Zhang Zhong go. With Zhang Zhong here, they had a backbone. However, they also knew that Zhang Zhong was promoted and would go to a place far away. Lord, please think of a way. If you do well there, you can come back to our Yaozhou to be the provincial governor. We can be together again. A few days ago, I bought 2 horses to transport goods to make money. If you have goods, I will do it for free. A person in the crowd shouted loudly. He was smarter and knew how to keep Zhang Zhong here without affecting his future. With him taking the lead, the other people also talked about their family's plans. Their voices were in a mess. Zhang Zhong could not hear them clearly, but he still stood at the bow and waited. The people also knew that their lord could not hear them, but they still wanted to finish their words. It was as if they said it, their lives in the future would be better. The old man stood at the bow and listened. He said to his son beside him, "Do you see that? It's actually easy to be a good official. In the future, if Zhang Zhong really comes back to Yaozhou to be the provincial governor, as long as he issues a decree, he will not be obstructed. He can use the people's hearts." This was the first time Bai Kong saw so many people sending him off. In addition to the people who were already here, there were also people who were coming from afar. When he heard his father's words, he agreed. Yes, it's amazing. Wherever Zhang Zhong is, the people can live a good life. The people of Luzhou are blessed. Zhang Zhong is satisfied with his life. Just like what Xiaobao said, he wants his father to stand in the center of 10,000 people and feel the glory. If one day I can do that, I will die without regrets. After the people finished talking about their plans for the new year, their voices gradually subsided. At this time, Zhang Zhong should also set sail. In addition to the people from the inner court of Zhang family and Wang family, there were also some other people, including doctors, craftsmen, Feng Luer's family, and the family who made the boat their home. After the group of people boarded the boat, Zhang Zhong's boat first came to the old man. He greeted him and said something before turning the boat around and heading in the direction of the capital. The rest of the people who were sending them off stood there and watched. Even if the boat had become a small dot, they still looked around until the dot could no longer be seen. Many people cried again. As they cried, they helped the Zhang family load the goods onto the boat. On the boat, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also cried just now. Their eyes were red. Zhang Xiaobao stood at the bow and said against the wind, "The provincial governor of Yaozhou? Good, the next official position will be here." Chapter 402. On a clear spring day, the turbid waves were still surging, and thousands of boats were competing. A large fleet of 18 boats was drifting in the Yellow River. The largest boat on the river was the same size as the large boats in the fleet. There were many smaller boats, and some even had a small boat to ferry back and forth. The waves rolled, and the boat was like a leaf. Many people in the fleet came to the Yellow River for the first time. Looking at the turbulent Yellow River and the small boats bobbing up and down, they were all shocked. When they praised the boat rowers for their great ability, they couldn't help but secretly sigh that poor people didn't have a good life. If they had the money to buy a big boat, who would want to row a small boat like this? One mistake and they would fall into the water. "Xiaobao, I'll show you," Wang Wan said to Zhang Xiaobao, who was standing next to her, with the clairvoyance in her hand. Xiaobao looked in the direction that Wang Wan was pointing at, and saw a 12 or 13-year-old child dragging a nearly 2-foot-long carp towards the shore. The fish was still waving its tail vigorously, creating quite a few splashes. The child seemed to be struggling, but he was very determined. Bit by bit, he managed to drag the fish ashore. Catching a carp in the Yellow River with your bare hands? Not bad, you have some skills. Zhang Xiaobao nodded and praised. Can you do it? Wang Wan asked. When I'm his age I can. You can kick me into the water from the observatory and see if I can swim to the shore. There are people who can swim across the Yangtze River, not to mention the Yellow River. Zhang Xiaobao said confidently. Ever since Zhang Zhong met the emperor, he took his family out by boat. They walked along the Yellow River, entered the canal, entered the sea in Hangzhou, and walked along the coast until they reached the destination. It could be said that this was the furthest distance from north to south. If they came out from Sichuan, it would be even further. On the way from the Yellow River to the canal, the fleet did not plan to stop to resupply or sell anything. They would wait until they reached the Chuzhou area. Other small boats or cargo ships might not be able to withstand such a long time without supplies, but the Zhang family's fleet was not a problem at all. As a fleet that could enter the sea, how could they not resupply? Wei Wei and Lu were also watching curiously from the boat. The two of them each had a clairvoyance. These clairvoyants didn't need to be made of crystal. There were some kills that could occasionally produce some transparent colored glaze. They just needed to find a colorless, transparent glaze. Wei Wei was more familiar with water than Lu. After all, her home was a boat. She looked at the small boat on the river and said to Lu, Sister Lu, it's very dangerous to row the boat at a time like this. Sometimes, when the waves come, the boat will capsize if the oar doesn't remove the force of the waves. Yes, it's dangerous. It's scary to see it in the water and be covered by it. Wei Wei, do you know how to row? Can you swim? Lu's heart rose and fell with the rise and fall of the boat. She was a little sad and a little relieved. Her family fled to Zhangjiazhuangzi. At that time, they were starving to death. Her younger brother, young man, didn't have the strength to cry. Unexpectedly, they met a kind person. Until now their family was getting better and better. But who would help these people on the Yellow River? The master of the Zhang family? If he could be an official here, it would be fine. Otherwise, even if he wanted to help, he could only help one or two people. Wei Wei also knew the hardships of a boatman. Sometimes, when he didn't catch enough fish during the day, her brother had to stay up late to catch prawns at night. The money he earned every day was basically the money he needed to spend every day. There was rarely any time when there was a surplus. Hearing Lu's question, she nodded and then shook her head. I know how to row a boat, but I've never done it before. I'm still young. I know how to swim. Which child on the water can't swim? Sister Lu, if you fall into the water, don't be afraid. I'll save you. I'm so old. It won't be a problem for me to save you. I don't want to wait for someone to save me. I'll learn by myself in the future. I heard that the young master and young lady are very good at swimming. Next time when we learn, I'll learn from them. I heard that the place we're going to has an ocean. The ocean is blue and there are very big fish. If we catch one, we can eat it for many days. Lu looked at the big boat under her feet and felt safe. She yearned to talk about what she heard from others. 18 big boats with sails were sailing with the wind and the current. They were not slow. These 18 boats were slightly different from other boats. There were 2 masts on the mast, one in front and one behind. At this time, there were no sails on them. Only those who knew that these 2 masts were used to hang the jib sails. Other boats would lower their sails when the wind was against them. When they were going against the current, there would be boatmen. When the wind was against them, these 18 boats would lower their sails and hoist the jib sails. The Ministry of Works and the Ministry of War had issued a gag order. Apart from the warships of the Zhang family and the imperial court, no one else could get their hands on them. Li Sun did not stay idle. Before he came, his father had given him a task to write down everything he saw and heard. He had brought many people with him. Some were scholars, and some were martial artists. At this moment, 3 scholars were writing while he was in charge of telling them what he saw. Thousands of sails compete in the current, or small boats bobbing on the waves. The shore is full of weeds, and the water is turbid. Children dive into the water to catch fish with their bare hands. It's strange, shocking, and lamenting. We sail the vast and mighty boats, but ordinary people ferry small boats. How many of them know what the common people want? When I hear that the people of Luzhou are suffering, I, Li Sun, swear that when I return, the people of Luzhou will have enough food and clothing. Li Sun stood on the deck with his hands on his back. His clothes fluttered in the wind as he spoke. Among the 3 scholars, 2 of them did not move while the last one wrote quickly. The little prince cares about the people of the world. I'm impressed, the scholar said to Li Sun after he finished writing. I have the ambition to bring peace to the world, but I don't have the ability to do so. Wait for the Zhang family. The Zhang family has always been extraordinary. Have you gotten used to it? Li Sun knew his place. He swore an oath and waited for the Zhang family to do it. He could only follow along and help. Little prince, I've been eating well, but my stomach feels uncomfortable when I'm floating on the water. I don't know why, the scholar replied. Li Sun smiled and said, it's normal for seasickness to be like this. Is it because you saw that the Zhang family and Wang family are fine, so you're curious? They came out of the water because they fainted. Before they came, they practiced for a few days. They'll be fine after a while in the lake on Herb King Mountain. I wonder when the people of the world will be able to live a good life. As Li Sun spoke, he saw a small boat being overtaken by a fleet. He felt that if there was a bridge here, it would be more convenient for people to come and go. If it was in the past, he would never care about this. Ever since he saw that the thing was given to Lu Er's family, he kept in touch with the Zhang family from time to time. That was why he changed. He restrained himself and learned to help the weak. He also felt the joy of helping others, especially those who couldn't eat. He first gave them something to eat, and then found a job to do. He felt a good mood that he had never experienced before. What touched him the most was the scene when Zhang Zhong left Huayuan County. He also wanted to have that kind of opportunity. He decided that when he got a fief, he would ask Zhang Zhong to be an official. That way, when he walked outside, he would see a smile on the people's faces. After another 2 days, the fleet arrived at Kaifeng. The next step was to change the route. From there, they would go to Chuzhou City to resupply. At the same time, they would buy and sell some goods. There was a big dock in Kaifeng that was specially used for docking ships. When the 18 ships were about to pass by it, something unexpected happened. There were more than 30 people at the dock, old and young. Unlike other people who were waiting for the ships, they were pushed and prevented from getting close to a ship. Later, more people joined in and pushed the ship together. The people of the Zhang family saw it, but they didn't understand what was going on. Li Sun wanted to let the people live a good life. When he saw injustice, he wanted to help. Stop the ship. The other ships go first. My ship stopped. Go down and ask what happened. Following Li Sun's shout, the ship came to a stop. Immediately, someone went down to inquire. The other ships continued to move forward. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also saw it. They looked at each other and didn't say anything. They wanted to wait for Li Sun to catch up with them. After the 17 ships left for more than an hour, Li Sun's ship caught up with them. From the water behind the ship, they knew that he used a propeller. Only 2 ships in the fleet were equipped with propellers. Zhang Xiaobao's ship and Li Sun's ship. They didn't usually use them. When Li Sun's ship came closer, an arrow was shot from the ship. There was a letter tied to the arrow. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't read the letter first. Instead, they looked at the place where the arrow hit the ship. What a wastrel, Zhang Xiaobao scolded. He then opened the letter and read it. Wang Wan also moved her head closer to him. There is a drought? Why didn't anyone report it? Wang Wan muttered after reading the letter. Isn't it the same? A few other counties were affected by the drought. If we can hide it, we will hide it. So there are people escaping? Why can't there be thousands of people? Go back to the ship and pick up all the escapees in Kaifeng. Zhang Xiaobao suddenly thought that the place they were going to had a small population. Why not take them to other places? They were all citizens of Tang. Why couldn't they live somewhere else? The letter said that the fugitives had no money to take a boat or eat. So they begged other boats to take them to other places or give them food to eat. If someone was willing to take them in, they could even help with some work. In the end, the people at the docks saw that they were dressed in rags and had stolen goods on them. They were afraid that they would spread the disease, so they asked them to leave. The people at the docks were still waiting to work. If the ships that came here saw this group of people and stopped next to them, where would they go to get work? They started to drive them away. Once Li Sun's people arrived, things became easier. No one dared to offend them. They waited for Li Sun's orders. Li Sun was full of ambition. He naturally took them to the ship and asked them to get food and water for them to wash up. Only then did he catch up. Zhang Xiaobao's words meant that the decision was made. He passed down the order, and the first 2 half-full cargo ships were unloaded at the docks. He also sent people to inquire about the situation of the fugitives. At Kaifeng, they dismounted their horses and started looking for the fugitives. The other ships couldn't move for a while. They could only anchor at the docks and do some simple resupply. Chapter 403. The officials in Kaifeng also knew what Zhang Xiaobao was doing. It was reasonable to say that they should stop him and not let the people under their jurisdiction leave. However, if they really wanted to do so, they had to solve these personal problems first. Obviously, the officials did not want to take out extra money. After last year's autumn harvest, they had taken out money to make up for it in the winter. Now that it was spring, the price of some things was rising. The people in the disaster area did not even have a seed. There were too many things to make up for. No one knew if the drought would continue this year. If it continued like this, it was better not to care about those few pieces of land first. Therefore, Zhang Xiaobao's plan to pull people in went very smoothly. In order to block this matter, the officials even turned a blind eye to the passing fourth-rank officials and the little prince, and let people pull the disaster victims in groups. The 2 cargo ships were emptied, but they did not make much money. They were too close, so they could only say that they were keeping their capital. The ships that were emptied were not used to carry people, but to carry food, so that the disaster victims could eat on the way. The 18 ships, each of which was emptied a little space, could hold 800 to 800 people. Of course, Li Sun and the Zhang family's flagship would not let the disaster victims come on board. The Zhang family had too many secrets, and Li Sun wanted to ensure their safety. On the first day, only 60 people were found. From the second day onwards, more people were found. In 5 consecutive days, a total of 841 people were found. In 5 days, Zhang Xiaobao earned an extra 200 strings of coins, which made the people who knew about it really speechless. After stopping the ships, Zhang Xiaobao saw that the goods they brought did not make much money, and only kept their capital, so he immediately asked people to buy fish, shrimps, and other grains and vegetables here. The people on the ships moved and sold rice. Kaifeng was not much worse than Chang'an. It was very prosperous. The rice was divided into different grades. The highest grade earned 3 strings of coins, the middle grade earned 2 strings of coins, and the low grade earned 1 string of coins. The people on the docks, the people coming and going, and the pedestrians on the streets of Kaifeng. In 5 days, the fresh and delicious food was cheap, so Zhang Xiaobao sold more than 70,000 sets. It became a trend here, especially for the people in Kaifeng who had retired, their family members, and their servants began to spread the news on the second day. Zhang Xiaobao did not expect this kind of thing. He thought that it would be enough to make a few strings of coins, mainly to train the people on the ships to cook. At the same time, he let some smart people understand the idea of grasping business opportunities. According to Wang Wan's words, they should not give Zhang Xiaobao any chance. When he had no money, they should not listen to him. When he had money, they should avoid him when they heard his name. This way he would not be able to earn money. Wei Wei and Lu were in charge of calculating the accounts. When all the accounts were out, they looked at the young master with even more admiration. Just by stopping the ships and waiting for people, they could make so much money. 200 strings of coins, which was enough to buy seeds and farming tools for the people of a county and feed them for more than a month. After stopping here for 10 days and half a month, there were no more victims. It seemed that the officials in Kaifeng were not as capable as the young master, and could not be compared to the Zhang family. At this time, some people had learned the cooking methods of the fleet, and started to make all kinds of rice. When Zhang Xiaobao saw that most people had arrived, he did not want to waste any more time, and ordered the fleet to continue moving. When the 18 ships left, The officials in Kaifeng went to the docks to watch. Feng Shaoi, what do you think of this? An official asked another official. County Magistrate Tian, what do you think? Feng Shaoi did not answer directly, but asked a question in return. County Magistrate Tian thought for a while and said, I don't know. What's going on? They bought all kinds of things from us and transferred them to make the food that is convenient to eat. They actually sold so much. The restaurants here also have the kind of fast food that can be eaten immediately. Why did they buy it from them? I think I understand. Although we also have fast food here, the rice and vegetables are separated. The vegetables have less soup, so they put the rice and vegetables together. They also have a special kind of small pickled vegetables. It has a lot of juice, and it is faster to eat. The taste is also different from normal. I estimate that they can earn more than 100 strings of coins in these 5 days. Even a ship of goods can't earn so much, unless they ship the goods from far away and don't have here. This is great. In the future, we will also do this in Kaifeng. Feng Shaoi analyzed. He just did not count the money they earned. County Magistrate Tian thought for a while and said, Feng Shaoi is really good. This time we have a lot of free land. When the new year is better, other people will come and save us a lot of trouble. Zhangzhong is really not a small matter. Initially, I was just here to watch the show. However, a person who can rule over a county and a province hasn't made any progress with Lu Zhou. It seems like it's impossible. He can earn so much money just by docking a ship. When he gets there and takes charge, perhaps there'll be people fighting to go to Lingnan. We can't compete with this kind of person. Let's go back and have a look. We have been stopped for 5 days, and we have collected a lot of taxes. The Zhang family and Zhangzhong, we must not offend them in the future. Feng Shaoi was surprised and happy. In the future, there would be a lot of simple food here. The shops, restaurants, and even the common people would have more income. The Yamen would collect more taxes. At the same time, he also learned something. This was a good thing. He was surprised because as long as the Zhang family was there, people would be scared and do things unrestrainedly. The fleet continued to move forward, and the 841 people on board were all changed into new clothes, and their hair was also combed. Those who were sick or injured were also treated, and the money used was the 200 strings of coins. Even so, it was not spent. The clothes and medicinal herbs added up to 50 strings of coins per person. When bought in bulk, the price was cheap. 40 strings of coins was enough. Before they boarded the ship, they had been told where they were going. Luzhou, a very far place. However, these people did not object. They were originally fleeing. As long as they could survive and did not leave Tang, it did not matter where they went. When they boarded the ship, they were very obedient. They knew that there was a little prince, a 4th-grade official, and a 7th-grade official, so they did not dare to cause trouble. They just did what they were told. Besides, the food was not bad. There were white flour steamed buns, a vegetarian dish, a meat dish, and a soup. Not to mention when they were fleeing, they did not dare to eat such food every meal in normal times. Some people who had followed others to Sanshui County began to tell others about the power of the owner of the fleet. There was no need to deliberately exaggerate. When the truth was told, people who did not know were frightened. Because of the existence of the Zhuangzi and Zhang family, the people of Sanshui County could eat meat every day. As long as they were willing, they could eat dumplings every meal. Zhang family and Wang family were even more amazing. Every family lived in a 2-story building. The children went to school, and the adults also had time to learn. Except when they were working, they did not wear clothes made of coarse hemp. If one family paid, they could buy a small shop in an ordinary place. If several families paid together, they dared to buy a restaurant. How much money did they have? Being a farmer was like this. Who cared about contracts? If they were driven away, they would not leave. They would be farmers. After such publicity, the escapees began to identify with the fleet. Whenever Zhang Zhong, Li Sun, and Wang Wan's father had nothing to do, they would go to other ships to have a look. These escapees respectfully expressed that they would work hard when they arrived at the place, and would be willing to become new farmers. As a result, Zhang Xiaobao had to arrange things in advance. There was no Zhuangzi yet. No matter what, they had to choose a place. A map that looked like a map was placed on the table. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were thinking about where to buy land. Both families had officials, so they would be given some land. Zhang Zhong was a fourth-rank official, with a yearly salary of 265 shi and 7 hectares of farmland. Wang Wan's father was a seventh-rank official, with a yearly salary of 70 shi and 30 to 50 mu of farmland. Neither of them had a title of nobility, nor did they have any meritorious service. Otherwise they would have received even more. In fact, Li Sun had the most. He had not been officially appointed as a marquis. He was just eating from his family. He was still young. When he grew up and had a fief, he should be a commandery prince. Just the land alone was 150 mu. He was anxious. When he grew up, he would be able to rule his own place. What kind of lousy map is this? It's not detailed at all. Where can we find land? Wang Wan looked at the simple map. She really did not know what to do. Zhang Xiaobao was also confused. The game maps he bought were more detailed than this. Who drew this map? He sighed helplessly and rolled up the precious map again. Forget it. We'll look at it when we get there. Let's choose an ordinary place and improve it. When we get to Suzhou, it's called Chuzhou. We'll see if there are any good specialties there. I heard that the Suzhou embroidery there is good. Let's buy some to make clothes. Specialties? Does Bilyuakun count? I heard that there was also jiangzhou fish. Let's get the tea first and then buy more jiangzhou fish. We can sell them at a high price. Wang Wan remembered these two things. Zhang Xiaobao disagreed. Bilyuakun is fine, but jiangzhou fish is not. No matter how good jiangzhou fish is, it can't be sold at a high price. The next stop is Zhujiang. Then we'll walk along the sea. Who will buy frozen jiangzhou fish? Forget it. Bilyuakun is fine. We can go there at this time. We can buy more. Wang Wan did not care about the jiangzhou fish. Chapter 404. Li Sun's actions were all taught by Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao said that as a leader, he had to learn these things. Li Sun didn't even think about it, and did as he was told. Needless to say, the effects were pretty good. When the commoners knew of his identity and saw that he could wear such clothes and say such words, they all became more respectful. Every day, Li Sun would take a look around, and sometimes, she would even eat a meal with the commoners. After 7 consecutive days, the boat finally arrived at Chuzhou City. Originally, going with the current would have shortened the journey, but who would have thought that a gust of wind would blow in, causing the jib sail to not be raised, which affected the speed of the boat. In fact, this was Zhang Xiaobao's intention. He was ready to find a reason to slow down the boat. Otherwise, he would have arrived 2 days earlier. At that time, the Bilyuakun had not been picked yet. He was afraid that the people in the tea garden would think that they deliberately came to buy tea and raise the price. Otherwise, all the boats would have raised the jib sail and paddled, and it would have taken less than 4 days to get there. At this time, the spring water was very hot because of the melting snow. When they arrived at Chuzhou City, Zhang Xiaobao arranged for people to collect the tea leaves. It would be best if the people in the inner courtyard could pick the tea themselves. He asked people to supply the tea while he took his family to eat. The Japanese grenadier fish in the river were not bad. Almost every one of them could be eaten with a few pieces of deep river stone, which was the thick bones on the fish. This was not a man-made fish. It was a pure wild Yangtze grenadier fish. Zhang Xiaobao not only ate it, but also bought some and froze it for his family to eat in the future. He also bought some shrimps, but not crabs. No matter how delicious the hairy crabs were, it was not the season. He sold a lot of goods shipped from Huaiyuan County. It was difficult for him to adapt to the different cultures and eating habits of the different regions, but it was very easy to eat something new. The boat was suddenly empty. Except for buying some rice and noodles, there was still a lot of space left. He couldn't fill it with tea leaves. He wanted to do that, but unfortunately he didn't have enough tea leaves. How could Zhang Xiaobao go on an empty boat? After thinking about it, he began to buy bamboo shoots. He also bought some good purple bamboo. He planned to look for places that did not have bamboo shoots along the way, and make them into things to sell. He brought the purple bamboo all the way to his destination, and used it to make some utensils. This purple bamboo was not bad at making musical instruments, especially the flute. Between the big sales and big purchases, the group spent 5 days here. The people who went to buy the tea leaves also came back with young leaves. There was also a place where the people of the main courtyard bribed the people on the tea mountain, and personally went to pick the tea leaves. Zhang Xiaobao treasured these tea leaves very much. Seeing that there was a lot of tea leaves, he reluctantly made 2 tea leaf dishes. The 2 families and Li Sun ate happily. Cast the jib and row the oars. Turn the wheels on both sides of the ship. Go to Hangzhou. Hurry up. There's still Longjing tea over there. After Zhang Xiaobao finished collecting the tea leaves, he began to issue new orders. The speed of the ship suddenly increased. In addition, the front of the ship was deliberately riveted with steel plates, which increased the ability of the front of the ship to divide the water. After the 18 ships were carried by inertia, their speed became faster and faster. Even the small fast boats on the canal could not compare to them. Along the way, everyone was shocked. After a while, the direction of the wind changed, and all the sails were raised. For 24 hours, the people on the boats took turns to paddle. In just a little over 3 days, the fleet flew to their destination. This speed was so fast that it could scare people to death. However, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were not satisfied. They felt that it was too slow. In the future, they had to think of more ways to increase the speed of the ship as much as possible. If they were driving on the highway, they would not need 3 days. As long as they were not afraid of being fined, they could reach their destination in 2 hours. As soon as the ship arrived at their destination, they began to sell goods again. They also went to buy Longjing tea leaves. Some of the tea leaves could be bought new, but some were made into tea balls. It was impossible to make green tea from the tea balls like before. Even so, they still bought more. At the very least, Lu Zhou did not have Longjing tea. This time, because most of the tea leaves had been collected, they did not stay for long. It took them a total of 3 days to buy and sell goods. The fleet set sail again. This time, they could not take the inland river. The river there would disappear after a certain extent. It could not be completely connected. If someone connected a few rivers like Sanshui County and Huayuan County, then they could bypass a section of the sea route and go through the inland river. Usually, the imperial court did not set a time limit for exile. After all, the land route was difficult, and it was easy to die on the way. However, it gave Zhang Zhong 3 months. He wondered if the imperial court wanted to see how fast a ship with propellers could go. If it were anyone else, they would rather not go than agree, but Zhang Zhong did. It had been more than a month since they left the capital. The rest of the time, they would have to sail the sea to Luzhou. The Zhang family's fleet was equipped with triangular sails, and the bows of the ships had been modified. There was a lot of space on the ship. There was no need to stop for supplies. Otherwise, if it were another ship, they might not be able to reach this speed even after 2 to 3 months. Zhang Xiaobao did not plan to stay for too long. He went around the sea. As long as they did not encounter typhoons or reefs, they would be fine. After a month and a half, the fleet finally avoided all kinds of dangers and arrived at Luzhou. At this time, Luzhou was hotter than the summer in the capital. The people on the ship were all tanned, especially Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. The 2 of them would come out to bask in the sun when they had nothing to do. Without sunscreen, it was difficult not to become tanned. There were less than 10 days before the 3-month deadline. The closest place to the sea was Ulei County. It was just a county below the sea. There were no good docks at all. It was difficult for the 18 ships to dock. Fortunately, there was a sunken bay in this place. It was called Qinzhou Bay. It was a very good natural harbor. The 18 ships went around the bay and arrived at this place. While they lowered the small boats for Zhang Zhong to take over, they contacted the local people and hired them to help build a simple dock. Zhang Zhong's handover was very smooth. The original provincial governor wished he could have brought Zhang Zhong here from the capital. He was too poor. Most of the people here were fishing and farming. When the wind came and the salty rain came, they would not be able to produce much. It was difficult to find people to work. There were 4 counties in this prefecture, or rather 4 commanderies. Only Jade Mountain Commandery was slightly bigger. However, there were only about 500 households and less than 3,000 people. The total population of the 4 counties was no more than 7,000 people. A prefecture, even a lower prefecture, could not have such a small population. It was no wonder there were so many fishermen. Every year, a large amount of local specialties such as silver, hawksbill turtle, turtle skin, jade feather, and armor fragrance were needed. If they did not go to the sea, where would they find these things? Except for silver and peacock feathers, which were found on land, the rest had to be found in the sea. The 4 counties were all lower counties, and the province was also a lower province. When the locals saw the 18 ships, their eyes were filled with surprise and vigilance. Looking from the ship, these people were even darker than Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Especially those who were supposed to be in their 30s, they looked like they were in their 50s or 60s. Li Sun raised his clairvoyance and asked Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who were standing next to him, curiously, "What's going on? Look, that person is obviously the father of the 2 children. Why does he look like the grandfather of the 2 children?" It's very simple. They eat a simple diet and lack some necessary nutrients. They work too long outside, are exposed to the wind and sun all day, and are eroded by the sea. Coupled with the worry brought about by poor living conditions, they became like this. Zhang Xiaobao saw that a few children were especially thin, but their stomachs were protruding. Seeing this, Zhang Xiaobao trembled in fear. Wang Wan understood why Zhang Xiaobao had such a reaction. She comforted him. It shouldn't be because of floating water or parasites. Thin bodies, big counties. Don't think of our children as African. Zhang Xiaobao took a closer look. Indeed, it was because their bodies were too thin. Li Sun did not know which province Africa was, but he was even more curious. Why are people who live by the sea so thin? There are fish and shrimp to eat every day, so they should be fat. Then try to eat fish and shrimp every day. People here live by the sea, so it's very difficult to sell fish for money. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in a county. The neighboring places are better than here. It's just that they don't know what to plant to increase production. If there's a typhoon or something, everything will be gone. Didn't they say that the world is wide and the world is wide? This counts as well, right? Zhang Xiaobao saw the scene in front of him and began to worry. He thought that it would be difficult to come here, but he did not expect it to be so difficult. Children in their teens had no clothes to wear. Adults only wore a pair of linen pants, and some women were just topless. The conditions were really too poor. What exactly was the difference? The fishing nets on the shore were also made of linen. Many small boats were directly hollowed out in the middle of the wood. There was not a single decent boat. The people on the shore and the people on the boat looked at each other. The people on the boat were curious, and the people on the shore were curious with a sense of exclusion. Zhang Zhong finished the handover 2 days later and returned. Along with him were the county magistrates of Wulei County, Huaqing County, Ninghai County, and Yushan County. There were also a few other deputies. From these people's official robes, they did not see anyone from the 6 departments, nor did they see those high-ranking officials in the state. Li Sun looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who were still in a daze, and explained, "In Lower Province, there are only a few people who can work in the yamen. Now is not the time to be collecting things, so most of them have returned home to do their work. The imperial court cannot directly give them their salaries, so they can only take from the taxes collected locally. They do not dare to underpay the imperial court, so there are only a few fiefs that are of little use." But isn't silver produced here? Is silver not valuable? Zhang Xiaobao really could not understand. He had never encountered such a situation. Chapter 405. Zhang Xiaobao listened attentively. Li Sun told Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan everything he knew. Only then did Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan know that there were not many redundant officials in a lower province like this. It was not that such a position was impossible, but that no one would come. Lu Zhou did not even have a military clerk. Zhang Zhong could be said to be a master of both military and political affairs. As for how many soldiers he had, it was hard to say. If all the people were soldiers, there should be about 7,000 soldiers in 4 counties. If all the soldiers were recruited according to the original method, well, that was Fortunately, we have trained 65 people ourselves. Otherwise, how much food would we have to feed them to make them fit enough to be useful? Wang Wan said with a lingering fear. Zhang Xiaobao continued to watch and found that there were only a few yamen runners who were not following them. Each of them had patches on their clothes. Even the clothes of a county magistrate were the same. Beside his father stood a man wearing the same color as his father. The dark red color of his clothes told others that he was a fourth-grade official. However, the color of his official robe seemed to be between dark red and light red. Which dyer dyed it? Awesome. With the presence of the officials, the onlookers finally knew that the newcomers were not bandits but new high-ranking officials. The common people were not interested in the newcomers. They were curious about the 18 ships. After the 4 county magistrates and the provincial governor who could go back, the common people learned that the new provincial governor's surname was Zhang. He was a very young man. He was the one who brought the ships. Since he wanted them to help build a temporary dock, they had to start working. They could not refuse such a high-ranking official's order. More than 1,000 strong men began to get busy. Some were looking for tools, some were chopping trees. This was just the common people of one county. They did not know about the people in other places. The older people sat on the side and gave instructions. The younger children were curious. Some played on the beach, and some jumped into the water and swam towards the boat. They were called back by their families on the shore, and they didn't go back. They just stayed there and watched. Zhang Xiaobao sat on the boat and watched the commoners work. He looked up at the sky and saw that it would be noon soon. According to the rules of the Zhang family, when others were working for them, they had to prepare food. The farmers had to prepare food for those who worked, not to mention that these commoners were working for free. Huzi, take your men and change into wetsuits. Jump down. The cook and some ingredients will be sent ashore later. You guys are in charge of protecting them. Zhang Xiaobao instructed Huzi, who was standing behind him. Soldiers were trained for 1,000 days to be used in a single moment. After such a long period of training, good food, drinks and massages, it was time to take them out for a walk. Yes, Huzi answered. He turned around and shouted to the other 55 people. Everyone, get changed and become bodyguards in the water. Everyone responded in unison. They turned around and raised their arms to their chests. Then they stepped in orderly steps to change their clothes. After a while, the 56 people ran back. They were wearing swimsuits made of fish skin, and there was a small bag made of the same kind of fish skin close to their waists. In their hands were 2 feet long, very thin, double-edged steel awls. They stood on the side of the boat one after another. Huzi took a deep breath and shouted, "Jump!" 56 people jumped down from the nearly 40 feet high ship at the same time. They flipped in the air, head down and feet up, and put their hands together to protect their heads. When they entered the water, there was a splash. Their bodies turned slightly in the water, and their chests were completely exposed. Li Sun had never seen these people train. When he saw them in formation. He looked at the 56 people in formation in the water. He stared at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in surprise and asked, "How did you train them? Don't tell me that we can get out of this by following the formation." A reasonable diet, a scientific training program, the patience of the instructor, and their political awareness. That's how you train them. Wang Wan made up a story to Li Sun. Li Sun was not surprised. He often heard all kinds of strange words. He said to the 2 of them, "Then help me train them in the future. Just follow what you said. There's no need to follow the formation. I'll train them myself." The 3 of them chatted casually, but the people on the shore were not. Everyone, including Zhang Zhong, was surprised. Who were the people who jumped off the boat? Those with long vision saw that the people who jumped off the boat were covered in a light black substance from head to toe. Only their eyes and mouth were exposed. "Governor Zhang, did you bring these people here too?" Huaqing County's county magistrate, Hu Qixing, asked softly. Zhang Zhong knew that these were the 65 people. He had seen them when they were training as diving swimmers. However, he did not expect that his son and daughter-in-law would be so good after they trained them, as if they were just playing around. When he heard the question, he nodded. "Yes, I brought them here. They are the guards at home to protect the young seedlings." I don't know why they jumped down. They're so high. Zhang Zhong did not believe himself after he said that. Protecting the young seedlings with such people? But that was the truth. The strong Team Zero of the seedlings. Hua Qixing naturally did not refute. He smiled and nodded. I see. It seems that your family is good at farming. You can tell just by looking at the people protecting the seedlings. It's all right. During last year's autumn harvest, there were not many fields. They were all rice, only about 3 dan of rice. If you put it in the fields, you could get 5 dan of rice. I just don't know what will happen if you plant it here. Zhang Zhong spoke the truth this time. Unfortunately, Hua Qixing did not believe him at all. What rice? What kind of field could produce 5 dan of rice in 1 mu? He thought so in his heart, but he still agreed. Your family is indeed extraordinary. The people of our province will have good days in the future. The surrounding officials were also listening. They did not believe him either. They thought that the new provincial governor liked to boast. They did not think much of it, and prepared to continue doing their own things like before. The people also saw the people who jumped down. They were quite capable to jump down from such a high place with their heads facing down. They were wearing light black clothes. It was a little tiring to look at them in the water. If they waited until night time, no one would discover them. There were people with children in the water. They quickly forgot to greet them, afraid that those people would harm their children. Zhang Xiaobao stood on the deck and looked at the 65 people. He said to Wang Wan, "The color of this diving suit is a little dark. Later, we'll make a set of dark blue ones. Otherwise, it will be too conspicuous during the day." Wang Wan also noticed and nodded. They also needed to make something for them to summon their qi. A small airbag and a stone. Otherwise, they would not be able to sink. Li Sun listened at the side. He felt that the two of them were not talking about a simple matter. What is your family trying to do? Specifically training this group of people. Those on land are to protect your family. What about in the water? Protect the seedlings. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan said at the same time. Okay, then you guys protect them. I'll see what kind of seedlings will grow in the water. Li Sun did not believe in protecting the seedlings even if he was beaten to death. However, there were not many things to do here. What was the purpose of specially training the Navy? To attack others? To rely on these 56 people? The three of them casually found a topic to chat about. The cook on the ship had already started to move the items down one by one. There were more than 10 small boats below. After a while, the cooking tools and cooks arrived on the small boat and estimated the number of people on the shore. There were about 1,500 to 600 people. He made a hand gesture to the people on the boat, and they continued to put down all kinds of ingredients. 1,500 to 600 people was not the same as putting down the same amount of ingredients. There were 600 more people, and 1,000 more people's worth of staple food. In addition to these ingredients, there were also 10 large jars of salted vegetables. The head cook understood that the people here usually did not eat good food. Once they encountered something good, they would definitely eat with all their might. According to normal preparation, it would definitely not be enough. Even so, there might not be any leftovers. However, they could not make too much. The ingredients were calculated according to the amount of food an adult would eat. Children eating an adult's amount was already a lot. If they ate more, it would be easy for them to get sick. The tools were first moved over. The 56 people swam in the water to protect them. They continued to move the ingredients back and forth. The people at the place where the tools were placed retreated far away. They formed a large circle and watched. No one dared to approach. The weapons in the hands of the 56 people were a little scary. Zhang Zhong wasn't in a hurry. He looked around slowly, and from time to time, he would ask the people around him about the harvest, and what the people usually did when they came to the yamen. He didn't expect these people to tell the truth. He just wanted to find something to talk about. Provincial Governor Zhang, why are the people on your boat moving these things down? Is there no place to cook on the boat? The county magistrate of Wulei County, Zhang Yi, looked at the busy people. He avoided asking Zhang Zhong about the law and order of the county, and instead asked about the cooking. Zhang Zhong was used to other people working and being in charge of the food at home. He only realized that the people here were not clear. He replied, "There is not enough space on the boat to cook for these people. There are still many people on the boat. Both sides will cook at the same time. In a while everyone will eat together. Don't worry, they will definitely not feel uncomfortable. Cook according to the method here." "My lord, are you saying that you're going to cook for everyone here?" "My lord, we should be the ones treating you to a better place to eat as a welcome dinner." "How can we do that?" "The people will go home to eat after they finish their work." A yamen runner mustered up the courage to join in the fun and said. Zhang Zhong turned to look at the yamen runner. He smiled and said, "There's no need to trouble all of you. My family has always been like this. I can't let people do things for free. When we have time, I'll treat all of you to a better restaurant. You don't have to save. My family still has some savings." As they were too far away, these people did not know about Zhang Zhong's family. The news had not reached them yet. However, when they saw the fleet, they believed him. However, they could not figure out why someone with such wealth would become an official in Luzhou. Did he offend someone? As they spoke, all the ingredients were transported to the place. More than a dozen cooks were used to cooking in a big pot. They began to get busy. The curious people were still curious, and the people did not stop working. Zhang Zhong's first plan to pacify the people began to be carried out. Chapter 406. When all the officials heard Zhang Zhong's words, they all understood. The new provincial governor should also know that the customs here were different, and wanted to buy people's hearts. Some officials were happy, some had ugly expressions, and some were indifferent. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wen used their 1,000-mile eyes to record the expressions of every official, especially those who had ugly expressions. These kinds of people were usually villains. They were a little corrupt, a little bribed, and used their power to harm the interests of the common people to enrich themselves, etc. They were afraid of a person who was in charge, and was even their superior. The people they were most unwilling to see were high-ranking officials from rich families. It was not easy to bribe them. The common people who were working still did not know that the new high-ranking official had asked people to cook for them. Some of them were already preparing to go home and cook for their families. At this moment, the 56 people in the water received the signal. At the same time, they stepped on the water and shouted to the common people on the shore, "Folks, don't go. Lord Zhang has already ordered people to prepare lunch. It will be eaten in a while." After shouting a few times to ensure that the common people could hear them clearly, the 56 people stopped. They were exhausted from shouting a few times just now. They were still stepping on the water. It was all thanks to their usual weight training in the water. Also, this was seawater, so the buoyancy was strong. The common people had never encountered such a situation. Even if they worked 20 days a year, they still had to bring their own food. They all looked in disbelief at Zhang Zhong, who was surrounded by officials, and then looked at the people cooking on the shore. They really did have some hope in their hearts. The common people were not looking forward to a meal. No matter how good the food was, they could endure and not eat it. They were looking forward to this matter happening. This meant that the new high-ranking official was at least a good official for now. Then their days in the future might be better. Listen to me, wait, just wait. Let's see if they will really cook for us." An old man who was being supported by someone shouted to the crowd. He coughed twice after shouting twice. When everyone heard the old man's words, they really did not move. They all waited there. The people who were working could not be so serious. From time to time, they would stop and look at the place where the people were cooking on the shore. Lord Zhang really loves the common people like his own children. He actually brought so many ingredients when he came over from the other side. I wonder how the food there tastes. I must try it later. An official who had been expressionless earlier praised. After Zhang Zhong's praise, a trace of worry appeared on the faces of those who were previously happy. The corners of the lips of those who were previously unsightly curled up. They seemed to have not carefully listened to what Zhang Zhong had said just now. They thought that the things that Zhang Zhong had brought were from the capital, and that it was the doing of that side. The people in the north liked to eat mutton, which had a strong fishy smell. As a result, the local people would not be used to eating mutton, and they would think that the new official was deliberately harming them. When Zhang Zhong heard the man's words, he carefully sized him up, smiled, and didn't say anything else. Zhang Xiaobao stared at that person on the boat. Remember this person and investigate him later. Using such petty tricks in front of me, I'll let him know what a big trick is. The old man who had spoken just now shouted again. Everyone listen to me. The Lord came from the capital, so the chef might also be from there. The taste of the food he made might not be used to it. Everyone listen to me. As long as it's made by the Lord, no matter how bad it is, you have to eat it. When the commoners heard this, they all nodded. They also knew that the food from the other side was different from here. As long as it was cooked, they didn't care if they were used to it or not. They weren't used to it, but the Lord wasn't used to it either. Zhang Zhong also heard the old man's words, and this time, he became serious. The old man seemed to be not simple, he could even think of such a thing. Zhang Zhong was not worried that the food he made would not be used to the people here. He had long been used to the dishes of various places. His family had found chefs from all over the capital, and spent a large amount of money to buy ingredients from all over the place. At first he really couldn't bear it. But when he saw that his son and daughter-in-law could talk about the advantages and disadvantages no matter what kind of food they ate, and they ate so happily, he got used to it after trying it. The chefs on the boat all knew how to cook all kinds of dishes. Not to say that they were good at cooking, but at least they could grasp the flavors of various places. The ingredients were also prepared long ago. His son calculated that there was no dock here, and deliberately arranged for him to lead a group of officials here to talk, saying that he wanted to see which official was trustworthy. It was reasonable to say that it was the most convenient to make stew at this time, but stew was usually a northern dish. The chefs would rather be tired and use a big pot to cook a single dish. There were 4 dishes, but there was no soup. The main dish was rice noodles. According to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's experience, they felt that the people here should be similar. The chefs who came from here to the capital were particular about sour, spicy, and fragrant. Especially chicken, it was an indispensable dish, and there was also bamboo shoots. The other 2 dishes were traditional dishes, braised pork and steamed prawns. Originally, they wanted to make chestnut pancakes, but unfortunately, they couldn't get so many chestnuts. The food on the boat was enough for 10,000 people to eat a meal. The smell of other dishes spread slowly, but below the steamed prawns was the soup. The faint and strong smell was blown around by the sea breeze. After the people around smelled it, they all sniffed and shouted. After the old man who shouted just now smelled it, he turned his head and looked at Zhang Zhong with a look of appreciation. Zhang Zhong also smelled it and said to the people around him, "This dish is steamed prawns, real prawns. The smallest one is 3 inches long. Try it later. If you want to eat it directly, eat it directly. I also brought a few kinds of dipping sauces. Lord, you are so well prepared. Then we will have a good meal later." After a worried official smelled the smell, he breathed a sigh of relief and said flatteringly. The expressions of the officials changed again. All the expressions of life were shown. Except for the red braised pork, which took a long time, and was only washed with water before it was taken down, there were still some procedures to be done. The other dishes, such as the chicken, had been prepared in advance and could be eaten as soon as it was taken out. The steamed prawns and bamboo shoots were made faster. When the cook felt that the red braised pork was almost ready, he began to put in the rice noodles. For the hot and sour soup, the rice noodles only needed to be put in and scooped up a few scoops. Although there was no chili here, and it was not clear if the local people could really taste it, the cooks here liked to make spicy things such as scallions, ginger, garlic, and some slightly spicy things like chives and garlic sprouts. As soon as the red braised pork was ready, the rice noodles were also ready. Beside it, there were chopped green onions, coriander, sesame seeds, and shredded meat, as well as vinegar, sesame oil, and pepper oil. They could put whatever they wanted. Plates, bowls, and chopsticks made of thin wood were piled up in the cooking area. As soon as the fire was put out, the cook knocked on the pot with a spoon. "Take a break and eat. Remember not to eat too much, especially the children and the people who are working. Otherwise, if you are tired, I will have to treat your stomachs. After repeating twice, the old man walked over first. Looking at the 4 dishes, he nodded and praised. Good, you are so thoughtful. Give me a portion. How do I use this? The old man picked up a plate. There were a few compartments on the plate. He looked at them but did not understand. The cook took the plate and put each of the 4 dishes in the compartments. He put the pickles in the small compartments and filled a big bowl of rice noodles. He handed over the chopsticks and said apologetically, You can only find a place to eat. It is impossible to bring so many stools on the ship. The bowl of rice noodles was placed in a round compartment in the middle of the plate. It was very convenient to carry. The old man did not care if there was a place to sit. He walked to the side with the plate and began to eat. With someone taking the lead, the other people also lined up in a few lines and waited in front of the few cooks to eat. Once they started to eat, they could not hold back. They came over to get a portion after a meal. Everyone praised how delicious it was. When the people were a little less, Zhang Zhong also came over with the officials. He also picked up a plate and got a portion. When he put in the rice noodles, he made it slightly spicy and put less vinegar. His action was different in the eyes of the commoners. They did not expect such a high-ranking official to eat the same food as them. The food was indeed delicious. There were 4 dishes and 1 main dish. Usually they would dream of eating it but would not dare to eat it like this. However, how could an official eat the same food as commoners like them? Zhang Zhong did not care about that. He first picked up a piece of rice noodles and put it into his mouth. He licked his lips with his tongue and said to the other officials who were stunned, Eat? Is it because the taste is not good? I think it's okay. It's just that the braised pork made in a big pot is not very tasty. The cooks did not dare to make it so sweet. Even the new provincial governor had eaten. Who else dared to not eat? Even if they felt that it was degrading to eat with the people, they had to come over to line up and get a portion of the rice. After tasting the taste of the food, they did not care about their status and ate happily. Everyone ate the other dishes sparingly. Basically, they had enough to eat. When it came to the rice noodles, they were not polite at all. The people on the ship sent some rice noodles. The cooks could not eat now, so they were busy putting it into the soup. The meal did not take too long. It was less than half an hour, but the speed of eating was countless times faster than usual. Sure enough, there were some children who were greedy. When they ate, their stomachs were clearly full. Because they ate quickly, the signal of the nerve reflex had not been transmitted to the brain. When they felt it, they could not eat anymore. The big ship immediately let down 20 doctors and 2 medical doctors. When they came here, they gave acupuncture and massage. Some of them were fine after vomiting a few mouthfuls. Some of them were not too serious and were given some Yamcha pills. The local people were completely relieved this time. The official who came was a good official. The price of the 4 dishes was not low. He gave so many people to eat at once, and also prepared so many doctors. Chapter 407. Zhang Zhong carried out his son's policy very well, which was to give benefits first. Once the benefits were given, unless there was an ungrateful person, there would be more people who would be grateful. In order to make the people believe, Zhang Zhong waved his hand twice towards the boat. Immediately, 40 doctors stood up. They were all wearing the same white gown, no different from the doctors here. When the people saw so many people who could treat diseases, they were stunned and speechless. It was the first time an official cooked for them, the first time an official accompanied them to eat the same thing, and the first time an official brought a doctor to treat them. The old man walked over and asked Zhang Zhong, "Sir, you said that those doctors are here to treat us? May I know where you live? How much money do you have?" "Yes, the doctors are here to treat you all. At the same time, they are here to learn from some people who know a little about medicine. As for my family, there is a Zhangjia Zhuangzi in Sanshui County, north of the capital. I don't know how much money he has, but in short he can take out tens of thousands of strings of coins." Zhang Zhong just found that this old man was different. When he heard him ask, he didn't hide and told him the truth. Zhang Zhong's words made the officials next to him gasp. If he could take out tens of thousands of strings of coins at will, Then how much money did his family have? The old man nodded, smiled, and asked again. Is there a mountain on the side and a lake in the middle? The Zhang family's manor in the middle of the water? Is it the Zhang Jiazhuangzi, who changed Sanshui County from Zhongxian to Shang County with the power of a village? Is it the Zhang Jiazhuangzi, who built a 2-story building for the villagers? Is it the Zhang Jiazhuangzi who made the people in the county live a good life? Is it the top scorer of the new examination? But after only being the county magistrate of Huayuan County for a year, he was able to make the lives of the people in the surrounding counties worry-free. He also allowed the people in the surrounding counties to have spare money, and even united the 7 counties to form a prefecture, Zhangjiazhuangzi? The old man's voice was special. He shouted so that the people around him could hear him clearly. Because the officials had not received the news and were too far away, they did not know what was going on with Zhangzhong. They only knew that the original provincial governor would leave this year, and that there would definitely be someone to take over. They did not expect that Zhangzhong did not take the land route, but came over by water. Now that they heard the old man's questions, and saw how Zhangzhong nodded every time he asked a question, they were scared out of their wits. Some people understood that the new provincial governor wasn't sent here because there was no place for him to go. He was too amazing. He actually retreated from a middle county to become an upper county, and then combined the counties to become a province. If he was still a provincial governor in the capital, he would have to be a 3rd-rank official. Advancing from the 7th rank all of a sudden to the 3rd rank was really inexcusable. However, his ability was there for all to see. He couldn't be promoted to the 6th rank, right? He was originally the top scorer, so he should be a 6th-rank official directly. He couldn't be suppressed to the 7th rank anymore. This was the reason why he came here to be the provincial governor. First, the emperor hoped that he could govern this place like the other 2 counties. Second, he was prepared to put him in an important position. He was in charge of a region at such a young age. His future was limitless. The common people did not understand what he was talking about. They only knew that this new high-ranking official had done a lot of good things for the common people in his previous place. In the future, his place would also be better. They knew that this person's family was rich and would not care about the things in the province. They knew that this person was the top scorer. There would be one in every imperial examination. He had great ability and was a literary star. When these things were added together, some of the common people could not help but cry. They knelt down and kowtowed in the direction of the capital, thanking the emperor for sending such an official. This kind of official was a treasure. He would be good wherever he was placed. He was good to the common people. He had the ability and was not afraid of greed. How many years would it take for one to appear in this world? When this common person was nagging, the people beside him also heard and knelt down and kowtowed to the emperor. In the end, no one cared about Zhangzhong anymore. Only the old man did not follow suit. Instead, he looked at Zhangzhong with a smile. If it were a normal person who was understood so much by others, they would definitely be afraid. However, Zhangzhong did not have such thoughts at all. What was he afraid of? He was indeed like this. Who in the capital did not know about the Zhang family's business? More importantly, he had a precious son and daughter-in-law. In a battle of wits and courage, he didn't need to spend any effort. 56 people were a little less, but the little duke's manor had a lot of guards. Using them was no different from using his own family. Now he even had 20 of them by his side. The old man looked at Zhangzhong for a while and suddenly said, "Lord Zhang, I know the Zhang family's ability. You disdain to be greedy for money. Other people can't give you enough money to move your heart. If you manage this place well, Lord Zhang, you will also benefit a lot. Even if Li Sun and the prince don't support you, even if the former Minister of Revenue, Bai Shu, doesn't care about you, even if the current Minister of Works, Lu Jiro, gives up on the Zhang family, as long as you manage this place well, you won't have to worry. Old sir, you're overthinking. I came here to manage this place well. It has nothing to do with other people. Even without those people, my Zhang family will still be the same." Zhangzhong was a little unhappy when he heard the old man use the power behind him to spur and threaten him. Did the Zhang family still need so many people to protect them now? The Zhang family was already established. Without anyone's help, they could still do what they wanted to do. Whoever had the ability could also give birth to a good son. Before he got off the boat, his son had said that he did not need to care about any power here. The Zhang family still had a trump card. He could not believe the words of others, but if his son said it, then it must be true. If his son and daughter-in-law worked together, they could call the wind and summon the rain. The old man was a little stunned, then nodded and said, "Good, good, good. I'm relieved that Lord Zhang can say that. It seems that the Zhang family still has some tricks that they haven't used yet. Lord Zhang, remember, there is a matter here that involves too many people. You have to be careful." "But the matter of the salt pan here? Old sir, don't worry. I have a plan for the future." Zhang Zhong did not wait for the old man to finish speaking and continued. "Yes, it's the salt pan. Did Lord Zhang think about it before you came?" The old man was finally shocked. He remembered that others had said that the Zhang family had two masters. It could be said that they were two swords working together. Only then did he feel relieved. If everything was thought of by Zhang Zhong alone, with his age then in the future, Zhang Zhong was slightly better. He looked in the direction of the boat, and showed a gratified smile. His son had thought of everything he could think of. How tiring was it? Not only did he point out the importance of the salt pan, but he also talked about the new method of making salt. The two of them did not hide their words from the officials beside them. Only then did the officials know that there were so many people behind the new provincial governor. But who was this old man? They did not seem to have any impression of him. At this time, the common people also finished kowtowing to the emperor. They stood up one by one and looked at Zhang Zhong differently from before. They expressed their most sincere feelings. "Let's go and build the dock with me. Let Lord Zhang's boat dock quickly. It won't take 3 days. It will be built in 1 day. When it gets dark, light the torches." A strong man shouted to the others and strode toward the construction site. The others who had just worked followed behind. Each of their footsteps was very solid, as if they had endless strength. Zhang Zhong was stunned. He did not expect that these people were deliberately stalling. From their words, he knew that it would not take 3 days at all. It would be finished in 2 days at most. The difference between being recognized and not being recognized seemed to be a little big. However, Zhang Zhong was happy. He did not expect to win the hearts of the people in just one morning. The common people were really too kind. Who said that the common people here were southern barbarians? How could there be such good barbarians? As long as the officials were good to the common people, there would not be any ignorant common people who would come to make trouble. It seemed that the provincial governor would not be too tired in the future. If there was anything he needed the common people to do, he would send an official document, and the common people would do it. After all, he did not intend to harm the common people. Thinking of this, Zhang Zhong shouted to those who were going to work, "I will cook for you tonight, and there will be wine. It is cold at sea at night. Drink some wine to warm yourself. There are more than 1,000 people on the Zhang family's boat. I wonder if they can come down and work with you?" At this time, Zhang Zhong mentioned the people on the boat. At first, he wanted to let the 841 common people and the people from the 2 inner courtyards come down, but he was afraid that the local people would resist, so he left them on the boat. Now that the situation seemed to be much better, he tried to ask. At this time the old man shouted, "The people brought by Lord Zhang are with us. What's wrong with coming down to work, right?" The common people shouted, yes, in unison. Today was like the new year to them. They were jubilant. They knew that a good official had come, they had a good meal, and they could drink wine at night. What else could they not do? In particular, the new official had asked for their opinions. They had to give him face no matter what. Not to mention working with the common people, they had to agree even if they had to supervise the work on the side. The small boats began to go back and forth between the big boat and the shore. Except for the people who stayed to watch the boat, all the people on the boat went to the shore. The common people from Kaifeng knew that they had to come down to work when they were on the boat. The young and strong people did not need to be told much and directly ran over to do the work. There were many differences between the common people on the two sides, but they had one thing in common, and that was that they all knew that Zhang Zhong was a good person and a good official. When they started to work, they talked about Zhang Zhong. especially those who already knew about Zhang Zhong's deeds. They told the local people in detail what they heard. The common people of the two places quickly got along well with Zhang Zhong's help. The common people of Kaifeng talked about how difficult it was to live in their place because of the drought, and the local people also talked about how they could not eat sometimes. It could be said that they sympathized with each other. When they talked about Zhang Zhong, they were full of hope for the future. Under the kindness of Zhang Zhong, the common people of the two places got to know and understand each other in a short time. Even Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not expect things to develop to this extent. After all, they regarded the common people as the common people of their time. The common people here seem to have too many good points. Chapter 408. Li Sun stood beside Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan and watched all of this. He sighed and said, "Who would have thought that as soon as your family arrived, you would be able to resolve the conflict between the people? Your luck is good." "How is this luck?" "This is called opportunity. If other officials came by land, they wouldn't have gathered so many people if they didn't have 18 ships. Even if they came, if my family didn't cook for the people, they wouldn't accept my father. No one would talk about the past, so the people wouldn't be relieved." Zhang Xiaobao saw that Li Sun attributed his hard work to luck, so he retorted. Li Sun didn't say anything this time. Seeing that most of the people on the boat had gone down, he also climbed down the ladder at the side. 56 people stayed in the water, protecting the people on the small boats as they landed safely. By this time, Zhang Zhong had a rough understanding of the situation. It was true that the prefecture was located in Wulei County, but the largest county in the prefecture was Yushan County. In the prefecture, other than himself, who was in charge of both military and political affairs, there were 4 other people. 2 of them were in charge of 2 departments. There were also 3 scribes, 50 prefecture soldiers, and 6 miscellaneous people. The soldiers couldn't be left behind. They had to follow the people who left. These soldiers were raised by the officials who left. Even if they were left behind, Zhang Zhong didn't dare to take them. In this way, the prefectural court seemed to have become a decoration. But the yamen of the 4 counties were fully staffed. There were county magistrates, deputy county secretaries, county wardens, clerks, and all sorts of other people. Not a single one was missing. Every county had more than 100 yamen runners, and there were also county magistrates and other people who were more than soldiers. As a result, if anything happened in the prefecture, they had to discuss it with the county magistrates. The local government was stronger than the prefecture. Zhang Zhong finally understood why the previous governor was so happy to see him come with official documents. No one would be comfortable if they were restricted in all aspects. "Provincial Governor Zhang, why don't we let them work first? We can go back and deal with the local affairs. We can't slack off when it comes to the people." Wulei County's county magistrate Zhang Yi said to Zhang Zhong. He had eaten his fill, and was looking at other people working. Being blown by the sea breeze and basked in the scorching sun, he couldn't stand it anymore. "Well, if everyone is busy, then you can go ahead and do it. I wonder if the magistrate of the state can help me find it?" Zhang Zhong wanted to meet those 4 people. The 4 of them were in charge of the 6 departments. He did not know how they were doing. It could be said that they were in the dark. County Magistrate Zhang showed an expression that he didn't know. "Provincial Governor Zhang, the 4 people might have gone elsewhere to investigate. Why don't you go back and wait?" "No need. I have my own arrangements. You can go back and do your work." Zhang Zhong knew that many of these people were against him, the new provincial governor. Before he could figure out what they were thinking, he would slowly investigate on his own. After Zhang Zhong finished speaking, some people immediately left in a hurry. Some people looked at Zhang Zhong and seemed to want to say something. When they saw that Zhang Zhong didn't intend to keep them for questioning, they also left. Zhang Zhong wasn't in a hurry to return to the prefecture. He stood there and watched the people build a simple dock. He was waiting for the people in the prefecture to come and find him. After all, it wasn't a big deal. If they didn't come today, he would go back to sleep on the ship. If they didn't come tomorrow, he would continue to sleep. Let's see who could outlast who. I'm old. My body can't take it anymore. I'll go back first. Lord Zhang will watch over here. The matters in the prefecture will be clear in the future. The old man just now used his hand to massage his waist and said this. He was helped away step by step. Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and Li Sun also came down. When they were about to go ashore, they instructed the 56 people. Continue to swim. Come up at night. It's easy to swim in the sea. Feel the sea water, especially the waves. Now you know why we put fish in the swimming pool. The 56 people didn't say anything. They lowered their heads and dove in. When they came out again, they were already several feet away. They split into groups of 2 and spread out. Li Sun stood on the shore and looked at the sea in the distance. This place looks good. We caught a few big fish on our way here. We can eat fish every day in the future. There's no rush to eat fish. We should build a new dock here. The dock needs to be repaired. We'll follow the route we took to come here. We'll ship the things here back and the things on the other side here. We won't unload the goods midway. If we want to buy things from the other side, we'll have to come to Luzhou. This was Zhang Xiaobao's next step. Luzhou was a huge place, but the population was too small. It was no wonder it could not develop. Nobody had anything to develop it. There were so many specialties. Apart from the tributes, why didn't they sell more? There must be something going on. There was another mountain range on the other side. It was the 100,000 Mountains. It was like a primeval forest. It was similar to Fragrant Mountain in Huayuan County. However, it was bigger than Fragrant Mountain. There were countless good things there. The people who guarded this place were poor for 2 reasons. First, there were some things that were not valued. Second, there were trade channels. Perhaps, there were people who came to buy all kinds of things. Due to the difficult road and the places that could be sold were far away, the people who came to buy the goods deliberately lowered the price. Let alone now. Even when they came here, some villagers were still suppressed by outsiders. It was very difficult for the villagers to go out and sell their goods. Fortunately, they were here. They did not have to be afraid of being suppressed in the future. The reason why they were suppressed was because of some of the goods that were transported here. For example, cloth and medicine that were not available in the local area. Since they had a fleet of transport ships, they could bring them here and sell them at a fair price. They did not believe that anyone would dare to suppress them. Zhang Xiaobao analyzed the situation. Wang Wan also thought of something. Xiaobao, I think the people here are too conservative. Why don't they raise more poultry and livestock? If they sell the things they produce, their lives will be better. Where are there no conservative people? It's easy to sell them. If we sell our own things, we won't be able to sell them for a good price. If we sell them too far away, we won't be able to afford to go back and forth. If we collect other people's things and sell them together, won't we become merchants? Our family has a lot of business, but they are all under other people's names. If they really become merchants, it will be very troublesome to do things in the future. Moreover, they are already used to this kind of life. For example, in the remote villages of our time, there were still people who only raised 2 pigs and kept them for the new year to eat. They still raised more than 10 chickens and waited for them to lay eggs. The main thing is that these things require capital. When one falls ill, everything will be gone. They are all ordinary families. Building a house requires money, getting married requires money, and even getting sick requires money. Living like this, many generations of people can only be rich when nothing major happens. Zhang Xiaobao actually didn't feel that there was anything wrong with this. As long as the government guided them, the people would be able to live a good life. Some people were smart and forgot their good qualities. In their eyes, there was only money. There was no family affection, no friendship, and even love became a luxury. When the 2 of them talked, only their lips moved. Li Sun didn't know anything. He was already used to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's communication method. To him, it was very magical. He didn't know how the 2 of them could understand. In the end, he concluded that it was because the 2 of them had been together for a long time after they opened their eyes. Thinking about the rolling in money in the future, Li Sun felt that his mind was as broad as the sea and the sky. He said to Zhang Xiaobao, "I'll write a letter in a while, and have someone send it to the military station to explain the matter. I don't know what Imperial Uncle is thinking. He didn't send your father's matter to the military station first. I've decided to pull in a few more merchants and build a bigger dock. Li Sun was very excited when he spoke. He couldn't fight for a position that he shouldn't, but he could make more money. With money, not only could he live a life of luxury, but he could also help the poor. In the future, it would be good to be a free and unfettered prince. He could govern his side well. They didn't send the detailed information here through the military station. Maybe the emperor noticed some things here, and didn't want the people here to prepare in advance. It is estimated that in addition to the tribute for the emperor will also collect a lot of extra tributes for some prince, minister, or even the big families. Don't look for other people to build the dock here, just the two of us. In the future, not only will we build normal merchant ships, but also warships. How can we let other people join us? You are a relative of the country, and my father is a high official. As long as the emperor knows about the warships, there will be no problem. It will be troublesome if other merchants take advantage of us. Zhang Xiaobao didn't hide anything from Li Sun. For example, he let him know about the matter of training the army. This time was the same. All kinds of business between the two families were mixed together, and they were also connected politically. They were grasshoppers on the same rope. As long as there was something fun to do, it would be fine. Build warships? Your family wants to rebel? Then I can't protect you. It's okay to train some guards, and it's okay to hide some military weapons. After all, your family is doing too many things, and it's easy to be plotted against, especially by other countries. Even if Imperial Uncle knows, he won't do anything. But your father is an official here, and he wants to build warships. It doesn't seem good, right? Li Sun still protected the Zhang family in his heart. He also didn't think that the Zhang family would rebel. Then what was the point of building warships? Zhang Xiaobao glared at Li Sun. What's the point of rebelling? Do you know how to do experiments? There are many technologies that the people in the imperial court don't know. How long will it take to teach them? We will use a new technology on the ship, and we will tell the emperor. You will tell him directly, so that the emperor will know. If he wants to do something, he can imitate it. We will build a big ship, and in the future, we will go to other places to have a look. Japan has been here before, and we will go further. We won't use warships, but only ordinary cargo ships. What if we get beaten? How long will it take to go out? Li Sun was also moved by Zhang Xiaobao's words. Chapter 409. The construction of ships and warships was a matter of the distant future. What was more important was that when it was almost time for dinner, the 4 judges who had disappeared returned. They were all dressed in official robes and had come together in a carriage. Apart from the driver of each carriage, there was also an attendant in each of the carriages. The 4 of them got off the carriage and brushed off the non-existent dust on their bodies. They smiled in unison and walked up. I am military advisor Lu Xiaoqing. I didn't know you were coming, one of them said first. The person beside him immediately introduced himself. Sir, I am military advisor Chao Herue and military advisor Lu Xiaoqing. Military advisor Lu Xiaoqing and military advisor Lu Xiaoqing, the third person said. The fourth person had the brightest smile. My lord, you're finally here. I thought it would take a few more days. Oh, I'm Jiang Huanshe from the Judicial Army. My lord, you can leave everything to us in the future. Zhang Zhong didn't smile. He looked at the 4 of them with a serious face and asked, What are the 4 of you busy with when you're not in the prefecture? Thank you for your concern, sir. Military advisor Lu Xiaoqing and military advisor Lu Xiaoqing replied. Sir, even though there are no soldiers in the prefecture, we still have to do water conservancy. There is a lot of rain in the prefecture. If we're not careful, we can cause a disaster. These days, I've been guarding the foot of the mountain. As long as the sky is cloudy, I'll be worried. Yes, sir. Even though the tax has been paid, those things still need to be sorted out. I'm going to look around to see if anyone found anything. Otherwise, it will be difficult to handle the earth tribute this year. The ones who said this were military advisor Chao Herue and military advisor Lu Xiaoqing. Military advisor Lu Xiaoqing also said, "Sir, you don't know. The people here are not well educated. I have to look around and teach the people what is good and what is bad." Without waiting for the last person to speak, Zhang Zhong asked, "Is Officer Jiang busy investigating the case at various places?" "Not bad. This official likes this kind of deputy who puts all his focus on his duties. Otherwise, he would be letting down the emperor's grace and the common people. The four of you have worked hard. It just so happens that the food over there is ready. Let's eat together." Hearing that it was a meal, Fan Jianqi burped. Facing Zhang Zhong's inquiring eyes, he explained, "Haha, sir, I've already eaten. I just ate a little. I'm busy, so I have to take some time to eat. Otherwise, I won't have time to eat." "Well, this official is not very busy and has some free time, so I can eat during mealtime. The rice here will be harvested in half a month, and the next batch will be planted immediately. Everyone will have to work hard." "Oh, since everyone has already eaten, why don't you tell this official how things are going with your respective tasks? This official will listen while eating." Zhang Zhong didn't seem to understand the meaning behind Fan Jianqi's words. He walked towards the food area and called for the four people. The four people looked at each other. Suddenly, a smile appeared at the corners of their mouths. Fan Jianqi quickly followed and said, "Provincial Governor Zhang, we don't care about this specific matter. We just look around. There are county magistrates below. If you want to know more about the situation, you can ask them in each county." "So you can't say? Right. Then what is the use of you? Why don't you transfer to a useful place? This official will submit a memorial to the court tonight." Zhang Zhong was still expressionless. When he spoke, he didn't give the four people any face. "Thank you, my lord. We really don't want to work here anymore. Why don't my lord take over our work now? When the time comes, we won't have to worry about the state's affairs." Chao Herue also interjected. They thought that Zhang Zhong didn't dare to do this. Otherwise, the entire prefecture would be in chaos. It was impossible for Zhang Zhong to do things well by himself. They used this method of retreating to enter to force Zhang Zhong. As Chao Herue spoke, he even took out the seal. It seemed that he really wanted to do this. The other three people followed suit and brought the seal to Zhang Zhong. Zhang Zhong glanced at the four people and sneered. "Since the four of you think you can't do it anymore, then I won't hold back anymore." As Zhang Zhong spoke, he swiftly snatched the 6 seals. Then he turned to the people in the inner courtyard and said, "Take the seals. From now on, all of Lu Zhou's members will be ready. Shang Yun, since I've brought you here, it's only natural that I'll assign you a task. You'll help the others figure out what they don't understand." Zhang Kaijin stepped forward happily. He used to be the county's chief secretary. Although he didn't have a specific position now, since he was here, he would probably be given an official position. Even if it was an empty position, at least he could do something. More than 20 people stepped forward from the crowd in the inner court. If each of them had a position, they would be able to support the prefecture. At this moment, Zhang Zhong said, "Since you don't have the seals, I'll take back the Yangyi. I'll write on the memorial that the four of you have resigned, because you feel that you can't do a good job. I'll find someone to replace you." "Please wait, Provincial Governor Zhang. We only said a few words to make you laugh when we saw you pulling a long face. Why would we resign? Please return the seals to us, my lord." Lu Xiaoqing was slightly flustered when he saw Zhang Zhong came prepared. If he handed in the seals, how was he going to do his job in the future? Zhang Zhong was too bold. He actually took back the seals. Releasing and taking back the seals was a matter for the imperial court. "Then come and take it back yourselves. Each of you can take 1 seal. I have other arrangements for the secretaries and soldiers. Remember in the future that I don't like it when my subordinates joke and tease me." Zhang Zhong naturally didn't have the authority to take back the seals, but he had the authority to arrange for the empty positions. It was obviously wrong for 4 people to take up 6 positions. He took back 2 so that he could arrange for his subordinates. As he spoke, Zhang Zhong took back the seals of the secretaries and soldiers. He only gave the remaining 4 seals to Lu Xiaoqing. Provincial Governor Zhang is right. We won't joke around in the future. Lu Xiaoqing's face was gloomy. He went forward and took back the 4 seals. There was no need to count on the remaining 2 seals. Provincial governors had the authority to arrange for the empty positions to be filled first. As for whether they could really get the positions, that would depend on the arrangements of the imperial court. The 4 of them had suffered a loss. They didn't manage to intimidate Renbachian. Instead, they were taught a lesson. This made the 4 of them in a bad mood, and they prepared to go back. However, Zhang Zhong didn't plan to let them off so easily. He handed the seals of the secretaries and officials to Zhang Kaijin. Shangyun, in the future you will be in charge of money, grain, tax, and other matters. Zhang Kaijin didn't expect things to be arranged so quickly. He happily took the seals. Sir, don't worry. I will definitely do everything well. I know how to do this. After all, I was once the registrar. Zhang Zhong nodded at him. He looked at the 4 of them and said, since you've already eaten and don't have anything to do, stay here and wait for me to finish eating. Then we can go back to the prefecture together. I still have something to ask. How is the residence in the prefecture? Provincial Governor Zhang is asking about the residence? There is. The place isn't small. It's just a bit trendy. The previous provincial governor sure wasn't used to it. Fan Jianqi replied from the side. However, she was laughing in her heart. That place was more than just a bit trendy. Needless to say, the sea was very humid. Just the place of residence was slightly sunken. There was always water seeping out of the ground. In those people's houses, when the seepage was bad, 2 inches of water would accumulate. There was no place on the body that didn't hurt. The previous provincial governor didn't have the money to buy a house outside, so he could only live there. She didn't know how this newcomer was like. Zhang Zhong and Wei Wei nodded. He wasn't worried about the humidity at all. When he came, he had already made preparations. There was nothing better than lime to absorb moisture. When the time came, he just had to sprinkle some everywhere. Zhang Xiaobao stood to the side and frowned. He wondered how trendy that place could be. The Zhang family didn't want to buy a house outside to live in. If something suddenly happened, they wouldn't be able to react in time. For example, if there was an unexpected situation and they didn't have time to deal with it in time, it would be 2 different things if they didn't live in time in the yamen. If they lived outside, it would be easy to be impeached. At this time, it was already time for dinner. Like before, the common people were eating first. When there were fewer people, Zhang Zhong would get a portion. Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and Li Sun were also waiting. This time, Li Sun found an excuse to come out for treatment. He didn't want to reveal his identity. When the time came, he would buy a house next to the yamen and live there. When he was free, he would find Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to play. There were still 4 dishes in the evening. The main dish was pork pancakes and some wine, which made the common people feel Zhang Zhong's kindness. Especially the wine, which they couldn't drink at ordinary times. It was too expensive. The fishermen liked to drink some wine. In the morning, they would go out to sea before dawn. When the sun rose, some fishing boats came back one after another. The water was still cold. With the fog, drinking some wine made people feel much better. Regardless of whether they were working or not, they were all given half a bowl. There was no other way. The alcohol content was too high. It wasn't rice wine, the kind that had been distilled. The common people didn't care what kind of wine it was. As long as there was something to drink, it was fine. They took small sips and occasionally ate some dishes. The pork pancakes were also good. When it was time to eat, the old man also came over. He also held a bowl and took small sips. After taking a sip, he smacked his lips and stopped coughing. He moved closer to Zhang Zhong, who was eating, and said, "Lord Zhang, this wine is good stuff. Many fishermen will feel sore in their joints. If they can drink some wine in the future, they will feel much better." Zhang Zhong was eating and couldn't speak. He nodded to show that he understood. He glanced at his son. His son returned a confident look. Zhang Zhong was relieved. Chapter 410. After the meal, the local people and the people brought by Feng Kaifeng started working again. No matter what, they had to finish building the pier today. Zhang Zhong did not plan to go to the yamen today as it was already late. However, Zhang Xiaobao insisted on going. He wanted to see what was going on there. The sooner he found out, the sooner he could find a way to deal with it and move in. The four of them did not want to go as well. They were tired after a day of work. However, when they looked at the hundreds of armed people around Zhangzhong, they were afraid that Zhangzhong, the provincial governor who dared to do anything, would hurt them. Therefore, they could only force themselves to go to the yamen together despite their tiredness. Luzhou's yamen was in Ulay County. It was not far from the county yamen. Under such circumstances, the officials in the county yamen would be very uncomfortable, especially the county magistrate. He was supposed to be the highest official in the county, but he still had to listen to the yamen's orders. He could not show his authority at all. However, Luzhou seemed to be the opposite. The original provincial governor wanted his yamen to be further away from the county yamen. He only had 50 soldiers, but there were 150 yamen runners in Ulay County yamen. Even if the yamen was far away from the emperor, they were still equipped with weapons. The county magistrate, Zhang Yi, bought these weapons with his own money. As for where he got the money, it was simple. The group walked for nearly 4 hours. First, they passed by the county yamen. From the outside, it looked like a dilapidated place. Fortunately, the door did not fall off. However, they could see the 2-story building inside. It was built well. This should be the county magistrate's house. That was Wang Wan's thought. A county magistrate, especially one in such a remote place, wanted to build a building with his salary? Dream on. If his family was really capable, who would come here to be a county magistrate? This was different from Zhangzhong. Zhangzhong was promoted from a 7th grade to a 4th grade. If he found a good province, no one would want to do it. The group continued to move forward. After walking for about half an hour, the magistrate's office appeared in front of them. The low walls were built with mud. The paint on the door had almost faded away. There were small holes made by insects. Looking through the wall, the place was not small. Unfortunately, there were no 2-story buildings. At this time, except for a few people who were doing odd jobs, there was no one else in sight. The odd jobs were sitting next to a pile of fire and eating. The rest of the place was dark. He directly asked someone to open the door. With a squeaking sound, the door was completely opened. Only then did the people inside come over. The reason why the door could be opened just now was because they didn't bolt it. With the help of the lanterns on Zhangzhong's side, they saw Zhangzhong's clothes and immediately knew who had come. They bowed and invited him in. Zhangzhong first came to the hall in the manner that specialized in handling cases. He walked to the side of the table and looked at it. There was a layer of dust on it. It seemed that nothing had been done for a long time. He then turned to the study. The study was empty. There was not even a small table, let alone a book. From the traces on the ground, he knew that the previous owner had moved everything that could be moved. How poor was he? He then looked at the signing room and other places. They were also empty. Zhangzhong helplessly shook his head. He knew that it was not easy for others to become an official. These things would not be left behind. There were new things on the ship. No wonder all the officials were so greedy. It was not easy to become an official. If they were not greedy, how could they entertain others and give their families a good life? Perhaps only those officials who were really willing to do things for the people could be less greedy. There were also the children from the big families. They did not need to be greedy. They only wanted to achieve political achievements. Although he was not a member of a big family, his family had a lot of businesses. Instead of spending so much effort to get a few thousand strings of coins, even if it was tens of thousands of strings of coins, it would be better to take a rest during the leisure time. After taking a look at the manor's office, he walked to the back. The back was similar to Huayuan County, where there were many courtyards. Perhaps it was because the land here was not valuable, but the courtyards at the back were more than twice the size of those in Huayuan County. When walking with a lantern in the dark, he had to pay more attention to his feet. This place was okay. There were no bluestones on the road, but some sand. The sides of the road were bare. There were no flowers or plants. 2 kapok trees stood in the middle of the courtyard. After walking a few steps, Zhangzhong found that something was wrong. There was water here. With the light of the lantern, it looked sparkling. When he entered the main courtyard, he could not find a foothold. He looked at the main room. The paper on the window had been torn by the wind and rain. Only a few small pieces were stuck on the window frame. This main room seems to be unoccupied. There is a lot of water, so it is wet. It should be the same in other places, right? Zhang Zhong asked the handyman. In reply to Master, that is indeed the case. I don't know why, but water keeps seeping out of this place. People who live in such a place will feel especially uncomfortable. If Master has money, why don't you buy a house outside? Governor sure has always wanted to buy a house, but unfortunately he didn't have enough money. The handyman answered respectfully. He saw that the new provincial governor was accompanied by so many armed people, and felt that he should be rich. Well, this matter is not urgent. You all look around. The people of the vigorous protection team, Xiaobao, and Cuckoo, follow me to other places. Zhang Zhong did not know what to do. He asked his son and daughter-in-law anxiously. He sent the others away and led the crowd to the back. After walking for a while, the people of the protection team spread out to be on guard. Zhang Zhong looked at his son. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan looked at each other. He squatted down and dipped his finger in the water. He licked it with his tongue and said, "It is not seawater. There is no bitterness or saltiness. It should be underground water seeping up. We need to ask others about the seepage speed. If it is normal underground water seeping up, it means that the terrain here is low. If the terrain here is not low and it can still seep up, it means that there is pressurized water below. We can make an artesian well. Huzi, go and ask the handyman what is going on here." Wang Wan judged after Zhang Xiaobao's words. Huzi ran out. After a while he came back and reported, "This place is higher than other places. There is usually 5 feet of water in the main house. It has been built with such a high wall. The water will not seep out at that height. But in this way, other places will follow and seep up. It is not fast, but it is not slow either." The previous governor asked his family to dig a ditch for the water to flow out. It is behind. You will know if you take a look. The previous governor wanted to dig more ditches, but he found that more water came out. The surrounding area is all wet. There are many houses next to the yamen. The people are not willing to do so, so they have to fill it up. Also, there is a river 3 li away from here. The previous governor wanted to dig a river across, but the 4 judges in the yamen did not agree. They said that the yamen's money was a waste of people's money. The county magistrate also told the people not to come and help, so the people did not dare to come. Besides, the previous governor did not have the money to work. After Huzi finished speaking, he retreated to the side. There was nothing else for him to do. Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and Zhang Zhong walked to the back together. At the back, they saw a ditch. The water gathered together and flowed out along the ditch. When they pushed open the back door, they saw that the water in the ditch flowed in the direction of a few houses. As they walked forward, they saw that the houses had dug ditches themselves and led the water to other places. I understand. There is no infrastructure here at all. When the rain falls, the rainwater flows in the same direction as the gutters. I really feel sorry for that sure guy. The provincial governor is such a high-ranking official. For him to treat such a situation like this, he must not be an ordinary person. Zhang Xiaobao did not need to follow them to know what was going on. He wondered how that person became the provincial governor. Didn't you hear what Huzi said just now? The provincial governor wanted to do something, but those 4 people stopped him first. Then the county magistrate threatened the people. Their family doesn't have much money to hire people to do private work, so they just dragged on like this. These people are really bad. From the looks of it, the 4 judges and Zhang Yi are bullying the provincial governor. Wang Wan analyzed at the side. She wanted to tell Zhang Xiaobao to quickly think of a solution. Otherwise, his father would also be bullied. Zhang Xiaobao curled his lips in disdain. Let's see who dares to use the original method on our family. This place is settled. It is good to have an artesian well. Dig down from the unimportant courtyard and build a pond. Then connect it to the river 3 miles away. There is running water. Think about it. The provincial governor's family does not have much money, but he privately raises 50 soldiers and makes weapons for them. Why is that? The cost of raising those soldiers is not small. Does it mean that he is afraid of his family's lives being threatened? Then who can threaten his life? The bailiffs do not dare. The county magistrate will not let the bailiffs do such things. However, outsiders dare, especially his family. I think that person is related to Zhang Yi. In other words, when someone threatens the lives of the provincial governor's family, the bailiffs will not appear. We can't count on them at all. Wang Wan added. This kind of thing was very common. It seemed confusing, but it was easy to understand once you knew. If there was anyone to blame, it would be the provincial governor's incompetence. A powerful person would take care of the other party. Zhang Zhong listened at the side, and also felt that this was the case. However, he was not afraid. His family was rich. They did not have to worry about whether they had enough money to raise a few hundred more people. There was also the little prince's guards. His family would not be harmed. Zhang Zhong and his family were analyzing the situation and deciding to live in the manor. At the same time, in the Yamen of Ulay County, more than 10 people gathered together to discuss the matter. County Magistrate Zhang, I heard that the new provincial governor is not ordinary. His family is rich and there are many people protecting him. Is the previous method no longer working? Why don't we give him some of the salt pan and some of the other precious tributes? A skinny man who was half a head taller than the others was sitting on a futon opposite Zhang Yi as he spoke to Zhang Yi. His family is rich? You believe that he can casually take out tens of thousands of strings of coins? Don't use the previous method of threatening him. Tomorrow, find a way to find him, and find an opportunity to give him 1,000 strings of coins. See what he will do. Chapter 411. That night, Zhang Zhong and his family took a good look around their future home. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan took out all the plans they could think of and planned to get someone to start work tomorrow. The two of them planned to turn their new home into a garden. However, when the time came, others would benefit from it. This place was not like Huayuan County where the next county magistrate could be appointed. The position of the provincial governor was too high. Even the minister of the Ministry of Personnel could not decide who would be the next county magistrate, let alone them. However, they could not go out and find a new place to build a new house just to prevent others from owning it. This place was spacious and better than other places. It would be a pity if they could not build a perfect home. If there's no other way, we'll let the new provincial governor take a look at this place when your father leaves in the future. We'll ask him to pay for it. If he pays, we'll let him do it. If he doesn't, we'll tear down the house and block the artesian well. Wang Wan clenched her fists and gestured. Zhang Xiaobao chuckled. Our family doesn't lack money. Even if the new provincial governor doesn't have that much money, we can't tear down the house and sell it to him. However, I reckon that even if the new provincial governor takes the initiative to give us money, we can't accept it. Why? Wang Wan asked, puzzled. Because he's afraid of offending people. Do you think the new provincial governor will be as poor as the previous provincial governor? By the time my father leaves, this place will definitely be prosperous. It's just like the Jia County magistrates in Sanshui County. When other officials were willing to go to a place where no one was willing to go, they would break their heads to go there when other officials were done building it. Although Luzhou is far away from the capital, when it's truly prosperous, who would care about that? Stay here for a while, and leave after reaping the benefits. It's not like you won't be able to go back for the rest of your life. Zhang Xiaobao felt a little helpless when he said this. There were always people who liked to pick peaches, but he couldn't refuse to give them. This peach was good, but it was not as good as continuing to be promoted. When Wang Wan heard Zhang Xiaobao mention it, she also understood. The person who came must be very capable. Even if we do him a favor, he wouldn't care about this little bit of money. I'm puzzled. Why are there so many different kinds of abilities? Some people are really capable and specifically look for bad places to build. Some people can't be said to have fake abilities. In any case, they have the ability to get what others have built. Which one do you think is useful? Of course, it's the first type. The first type doesn't need to be afraid of being sent away, and the second type has to pray that his or her family's power will never change, but they also have to constantly worry about the emperor's attitude towards their family. We are the first type. We don't need to be afraid of the emperor, as long as we don't annoy the emperor. I don't think we'll be able to go to the capital even after we've built Luzhou. I hope we can go back to Yaozhou and be the provincial governor there again. My father is still young, and it's better for him to be a high-ranking official. I wonder what Li Longji will do in the future. I don't think it's anything good. Zhang Xiaobao was trying to figure out Li Longji's personality, but he found that there were many times when some people's personalities were constantly changing. Of course, this change was also a kind of personality, but it was too difficult to control. Wang Wan did not care where the Zhang family went. In any case, wherever the Zhang family went, the Wang family would follow. As long as she was around, she would never abandon her family. Her parents were different from Zhang Xiaobao's parents. Even if the final dividends of every business deal went to the Wang family, her parents did not care about the money. It was said that when the Zhang family and the Wang family were doing business, all the money would belong to her and Zhang Xiaobao. Her parents only wanted to show off in front of others. Zhang Xiaobao's parents, on the other hand, had more ambitions. After hearing Zhang Xiaobao's words, Wang Wan came up with two scenarios. I think it can only be from two aspects. The first is a very poor place. Let your father continue to go there and build a prosperous place. The second is a place that is difficult to solve. For example, Zhejiang and Hangzhou. That place has always been a troublesome place. She's too charming. No matter where he goes, it won't be easy. This is also what I want. Only by making more achievements will my father's future be smoother. Let's go to an inn to rest for the night. We'll start work tomorrow. Zhang Xiaobao held Wang Wan's hand and caught up with his father. The group looked for an inn to stay in, preferably one that had a spare courtyard. The next morning, without waiting for others to come to Zhangzhou, 150 of Li Sun's 200 bodyguards were sent out to patrol the streets of the prefectural city with weapons. The Yamen also put up a recruitment notice for the local people to come and work. The Zhang family would pay for it themselves. Even if those 4 people didn't cause trouble, Zhang Zhong wouldn't take money from the prefectural city's account to build his own house. The news of the recruitment notice quickly spread to the Yamen of Wulei County. County Magistrate Zhang was preparing to find Zhang Zhong and find an opportunity to bribe him. If he succeeded, he would have something to use against Zhang Zhong. If he didn't, he would understand Zhang Zhong's attitude. After hearing the news, he immediately gathered his 150 bailiffs. A small portion of the bailiffs were recruited locally, but the majority were brought here from other places. He didn't use the local bailiffs this time. Zhang Zhong had already bought a lot of people's hearts yesterday. He was afraid that these bailiffs wouldn't do their job seriously, so he only sent his 110 bailiffs out to see which commoner would dare to build a house for him, and personally delivered the warning to each house. Unfortunately, he underestimated Zhang Xiaobao's ruthlessness. As soon as the 110 bailiffs went out, they were discovered by the patrolling guards of the prince's mansion. Sabers were unsheathed, crossbows were loaded, and all of them were captured at a place a little distance away from the county yamen. Precisely speaking, they captured the other 3 bailiffs, while the other 7 were shot dead on the spot. These 7 people had drawn their swords, but they were shot to death as soon as they moved. The other bailiffs didn't dare to move, and were tied up one by one. The nearby commoners were all peeking through the cracks of the door. When they saw that the bailiffs who always bullied them were arrested, they suppressed the excitement in their hearts, and went out to spread the good news in all directions. Zhang Xiaobao didn't plan to start the construction today. He just wanted to deal with County Magistrate Zhang, and at the same time make the lives of the local commoners better. A good life naturally required supplies. This time, the ship brought a lot of goods. At first, he wanted to sell them at a high price, but now it seemed impossible. The commoners didn't have money, so no matter how good the goods were, they couldn't be sold. Zhang Xiaobao could only use another method, which was to give the goods first and collect the money later. This money could be paid in installments, and there was no need to pay interest. He would distribute the goods and buy the things needed for the tribute. These were all good things. For example, shell incense, which was a kind of shellfish in the sea. It could be used as a medicinal ingredient, and it could also be used for beautifying. Another idea was to let the commoners help spread the news, and tell other commoners that the new provincial governor would firmly suppress the local county magistrate. This method was very effective. When they saw that the bailiffs were arrested, they ran to the houses of the people they knew or ran directly to the place where the fishing boats were anchored. Fifth Lord, good news, great news. A person who ran to the market said to the old man who was selling fish there, "What? What did you say? Do you think your family can eat that much fish? Buy less." The old man's ears were not very good. The person had no choice but to put his mouth close to the old man's ear and shouted, "Fifth Master, it's good news. The bailiffs have been caught." They were caught by the subordinates of the new official. They even killed 7 people. This time the old man heard it clearly. He asked in disbelief, "Really? The bailiffs in the county were arrested by the new provincial governor's soldiers? And they even killed people?" The 2 people's voices were not low. The people who were selling nearby heard them, and gathered around the 2 people. The person did not care that others were listening. He continued to shout to the old man, "It's true. They were really arrested and killed. Those soldiers were very powerful. They were equipped with crossbows." The 7 bailiffs were just about to draw their swords when they were shot to the ground. With only 1 arrow each, none of them survived. The 7 soldiers who killed them did not even blink. It was as if they were not killing people, but chickens. Good. Someone should have dealt with them long ago. No wonder no bailiffs came to take my fish for free. The new provincial governor is indeed a good official who protects poor people like us. I won't sell my fish anymore. I'll go home and chase the 2 boys out so they can build a house for the governor. The old man started to pack up his stall while trembling. It was not that he was not feeling well, but that he was excited. When the commoners heard this, they could not suppress the joy in their hearts. Some cried, some laughed to the sky, and some immediately ran home to tell the good news to their families and neighbors. Before they could finish rejoicing, another notice was posted. The notice asked the local people to tell the story of how they had been bullied by the bailiffs. Everything would be decided by the provincial governor. In order to increase the people's confidence, the Zhang family sent out guards. These guards were promoted later. Their fighting power was not as good as the 56 people, but they were armed with weapons and had bows on their backs. This made the commoners feel more relieved. With so many people, would the new provincial governor be afraid of a county magistrate? There were many ethnic minorities here. To be precise, this was where the ethnic minorities lived. The customs here were completely different from other places. If it were in other places, the commoners might be afraid to say anything. But here such things would definitely not happen. As long as someone was willing to make a decision, they would tell all the bad things that the bailiffs had done. One by one, the people who had been bullied by the bailiffs gathered at the magistrate's office. Because he had sent out his closest subordinates and left 40 local bailiffs behind, Zhang Yi did not receive the news until an hour after it happened. Hearing that 7 of his subordinates had been killed on the spot, and the rest had been captured, as well as the matter mentioned in the second notice, Zhang Yi felt his vision go dark and his whole body go numb. It took him quite a while to recover from it. Chapter 412. Zhang Zhong, the people from the inner court, and Zhan Shangyun started to get busy. They received the commoners one by one, and recorded down what they said. It would be better if there was direct evidence, but it didn't matter if there wasn't. They would spill everything under torture. The 4 judges were also called over by Zhang Zhong to listen. They didn't expect Zhang Zhong to act so quickly. He had only been here for a day, but he had already started to act. It was like a thunderbolt. Where did he find these guards? They even had crossbows. The 4 of them originally wanted to tell Zhang Yi about this matter, but they were stopped and brought here to listen. They listened as the commoners listed out the crimes one by one. They wanted to interrupt the commoners and threaten them, but there were more than a dozen people with a silver-white seedling on their chests standing around, so they didn't dare to do anything. The only way to threaten them was to glare at the commoners who came to complain. These commoners had finally found their backbone, so how could they be afraid of the four of them? Not only did they report the contents of their complaints, they even glared back at them. In the end, after they glared back and forth, one of the commoners didn't want to glare back anymore. He spat a mouthful of phlegm on Chao Harue's face. Chao Harue was stunned and immediately went forward to kick him. However, the people from the seedling protection team reached out and grabbed him, causing him to tumble down. Zhang Zhong spoke at this time. Adjunct Chao, there's no need to be angry with the commoners. If you feel that they have insulted you, you can write a memorial and hand it to me first. I will deal with it as I see fit. Chao Harue knew that he wouldn't be able to gain any advantage at this time. In terms of fighting, any one of the people standing at the side could easily beat the four of them. He had heard that these guards with unique markings were Zhang Zhong's personal guards. They were fine even if they jumped from a 40-foot-tall ship into the sea. Looking at the expressions on these people's faces, they looked like they were made of wood. These people couldn't be beaten, at least not by the four of them. Wiping his face with his sleeve, Chao Harue said to the citizen who came to complain, "You dare to spit on me? I wish your family a long life." Bah, dog official, I'm telling you, now that there's a new official, don't even think about scaring me. I'll wait for the day when you're dealt with, I'll wait. This person was not afraid of Chao Harue in the slightest. He spat again and cursed. This time, Chao Harue was prepared and did not get spat on his face. However, his clothes did not escape. There was a large piece of yellow phlegm on his clothes, which was disgusting to look at. Left and right? If anyone dares to disturb the court again, slap them on the spot. Zhang Zhong's face darkened as he stared at the commoner below and shouted. The members of the seedling protection team shouted in unison. They knew what the old master meant, which was to slap the four of them. The commoner was not stupid. The words that Chao Harue was about to say were interrupted by the new official. He knew who the new official favored, so he smiled at Chao Harue and continued to speak. Crimes were written down one by one. At the end, there were still people who tortured the remaining bailiffs. The torture method was very simple. Zhang Xiaobao learned it from Xiaohong. In the past, Xiaohong commanded the poultry and almost killed those people. This time there were no poultry, so they used a type of fish that was fished out from the sea. The shark was not considered big, only 5 to 6 feet long. It was kept in a large fish tank made of wood. When the bailiffs were questioned, if they did not say anything, then they would be put into the fish tank. They deliberately found a high platform so that they could see the situation in the fish tank. When the first bailiff was tied up and slowly lowered down, the blood that came out made the other bailiffs choose to compromise. The bailiffs who went down had their ropes cut off when other bailiffs were willing to speak. The scream scared the other bailiffs so much that their legs went soft. At this time, Zhang Yi was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. He wanted to find the 4 judges, but he was told that the 4 of them stayed in the manor. He also wanted to go and take a look, but he was afraid that his subordinates would tell him something and directly arrest him. With no other choice, he left the yamen alone. He didn't dare to wear any official robes. He jogged to the outside of a house, knocked on the door 3 times long and 2 times short, then anxiously paced around in front of the door. It didn't take long for the door to be pulled open from the inside. Zhang Yi jumped in and closed the door behind him. Then he said to the person who opened the door, "Take me to your master. It's urgent." "County Magistrate Zhang, please follow me. Master already knows some things and is waiting for you," the servant who opened the door said in a manner that was neither servile nor overbearing. He led the way in front. After passing through a few courtyards, when they came to a place, Zhang Yi rushed in front of the tall and thin man and said, "Boss Shun, it's not good. The new provincial governor has made a move. Nothing happened last night, but this morning it changed. My people have been arrested. I don't know what they can say." The tall and thin man looked indifferent and said to Zhang Yi, "County Magistrate, don't worry. Indeed, Zhang Zhong made a move early, much earlier than we expected. But so what? He arrested the bailiffs. Even if they give you away, you can deny it. There's no proof. The money we gave you is a gift between friends. Did you take bribes? Have we ever asked you to do anything evil for us? We are just friends. There's nothing else mixed in. Do you understand? Not to mention here, even in the Ministry of Justice of the Imperial Court, it's the same. Even if we see the Emperor, it won't change. Yes, no, not at all. We are just friends. We gave each other some things, including money. Those bailiffs were just talking nonsense. They were forced to confess under torture. They can't be trusted. Then what should we do next? Zhang Yi understood as soon as he heard this. He had to clear himself first. The bailiffs might have been forced to confess. When the time came, he would find 4 judges and jointly submit a report to the court. The tall and thin man nodded with satisfaction. He looked in the direction of the government office and said, "We don't need to do the next step. That Zhang Zhong will definitely come to you personally. He just arrived here and doesn't know anything. Don't be fooled by his methods. In fact, he just wants you to surrender. Since that's the case, then he will come to you and use the bailiff's confessions to force you to submit. This is also a chance. When the time comes, I'll go with you and see what Zhang Zhong has to say. Don't worry, you know who's behind me. Even if the negotiations don't go well, I can still bail you out." "Good, then we'll do as Mr. Shen says. Wait for him to come to me. I'll take you there." Zhang Yi admired this person. He rarely made mistakes in his calculations. Even if there was a slight difference, it was almost the same. It was a pity that they didn't know what kind of opponent they were facing. They also couldn't guess that this opponent wasn't the new provincial governor, but the 2 harmless-looking children beside the provincial governor. Zhang Yi wasn't in a hurry to go back. He stayed here and waited for Zhang Zhong to come to him. In the magistrate's office, Zhang Zhong had already flipped through the bailiff's confessions. When the 102 bailiffs were willing to confess, they were questioned separately. As long as there was a difference, they would continue to be thrown into the shark tank. Not only were they asked what they had done, but they were also asked what others had done. This kind of questioning made the bailiffs not dare to lie. If they said that their crimes were light, who knew if the other bailiffs would tell the truth? Similarly, they didn't mention that their colleagues would cover for them. They couldn't cover for them anyway. Everyone considered the severity of the matter differently. If what they said was different from what others said, they would be thrown into the fish tank again. Zhang Zhong was no longer the person who couldn't tolerate anything when he had just become an official. During this period of time, he had also gotten used to some things. However, when he saw the confessions of these bailiffs, he couldn't help but get angry. Bastards, a bunch of bastards. Look at what they have done. They actually took things for free in the county's market every day. They even forced the fishermen to catch specific fish for them. They even made the fishermen go out to sea in the heavy rain, just to get those things that could be offered as a tribute. Many fishermen died at sea. They even rushed into the people's houses to steal things. They are considered smart. They only stole a small part of the things each time, and came back the next day. This made the people lose their will to fight to the death. Among them, there are still 31 people who deserve to die. The rest can be locked up for a few years. Zhang Zhong knew that he couldn't solve the problem after scolding for a while, so he turned to look at his son. Zhang Xiaobao also read the confessions. He didn't have any indignant thoughts. He was already used to these things. Wang Wan was also the same. The darkness of the society was still considered bright compared to the bailiffs. "Father, since 31 people deserve to die, then immediately behead 31 of them. This kind of thing you, the provincial governor, can make the decision. Let the rest go back. Since it's not a capital crime, it's a waste of food to lock them up." Zhang Xiaobao thought about it and said to his father, "Let them go? Let them go. Won't Zhang Yi have more manpower to use?" "Xiaobao, you can't let them go." Zhang Zhong didn't expect that his son would ask him to let them go. Zhang Xiaobao put down the confessions in his hand and explained to his father, "Father, we can let them go, but not like this. First, we let people whip them. As long as they faint once, it's enough. Then we don't give them food, water, or sleep." He had people continuously ask them whether they would help Zhang Yi in the future, and whether they would listen to the provincial governor's orders. As long as they were asleep, he would wake them up and ask them these 2 questions. He would ask them continuously until the next night. Then he would let them rest and sleep for a while before letting them go. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.